Buddy, Joe the Lawyer here, the long-awaited Glynn Seal interview. I've been talking about this for a week now. Thank you, Glynn, for coming.
No problem at all. Thank you very much for having me.
Anytime, man. This is great. I mean, you're everywhere. We were doing a little pre-show chat, get to know each other because we haven't met. I mean, I've known your name since the beginning of time, right, in the OSR, right? But we haven't actually met. But you are everywhere, and you're like listing out all the stuff you work on. I'm like, Jesus. Oops. Oh, here we go. I did not turn off. Yeah. This is the amateur hour. I did not turn off my own YouTube video. It started talking over me here. So
yeah, I've kind of set mine up for restreaming, but I think
it should be going, right? It ought to be going.
Yeah, you've definitely popped up as live on my phone.
There you go.
Whether mine streaming or who knows.
Yeah, this is good. This means it'll be on your channel forever, this interview, for good or for bad. It'll be, unless you delete it, it'll be there forever. So any folks want to refer to the video and want to know about me, here it is.
Yeah, I think I'm live on mine, so I'll close all that down now. Right, okay, you have my full undivided attention.
All right, good deal, man. Well, again, thanks for coming. Now, like I said, you've been doing mapping and cartography and art, and I just realized layout, because we were talking layout, and you said you did the 3 books behind me. I'm like, right here, Adventure Conqueror King. I did not realize you did the layout for that too, man. That's fantastic. Fantastic. Where did you get started with all that, dude? Were you always drawing from a young age?
How did it start? Well, if I go back right to the start, we mentioned just before. So Google Plus really was where I kind of found my people. That was where the avatar was, and I kind of sort of one of the things that I was doing as well. I was working full time in the security industry. I'd been there for like probably 28 years or something like that.
You mean like computer security or like beating people up at the door security?
No, so electronic security, CCTV access control, gate, all of that kind of thing. And I'd been doing that for a long time, and I just needed a change. I was spent. Kind of the pace of things, it was just a lot. And I just kind of on the lead up to me finally leaving, I'd kind of found G+. I decided, I think, to go on and find anybody to do with RPGs. So I remember taking books off my shelf, and looking for the authors and the artists and the people, finding them on G+, following them. So I pretty much just like blanket followed everybody to do with RPGs. And then like in the early days, I was just posting like 40k models and things that I'd painted. And I was kind of okay at painting, but I remember thinking, I wonder if I could ever turn that into a career, and quickly decided that the amount of time that you spend on a miniature, which let's say you spend 8 hours painting it in detail, you can't charge what is a good hourly rate times 8.
Yeah, $25 an hour. That's for 8 hours. $200 for a mini.
So I quickly realised that wasn't going to be the thing that I went into. But I decided I'd kind of been working on this project, which ended up being the Midlands. And I decided I was going to run a Kickstarter. So in the previous job, I'd done a lot of project management, and I knew kind of lots about the business side of things. So I thought I wasn't phased by running a Kickstarter. It's just about risk. Make sure you know what the risks are, research it properly, and then come up with a plan, and have a bit of a fallback plan if things don't work out on certain things. So I ran the first Kickstarter. That was for the Midlands. I think it was about £16,000 or something, but like a wild success really for me at that time. Kickstarter. So actually, it probably wasn't 16. It was probably like 13 or 14. But that's like probably $20,000, something like that.
US, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought, okay, this has got more legs than painting miniatures and things. I'm probably jumping ahead. Actually, I think prior to that, I'd been drawing maps as well, some maps.
Okay. Now,
did you start
like D&D maps? Is that you're talking about, or just cartography maps?
Yeah, I've been playing D&D since '85. So Red Box was like the first real game.
85 or 95?
85.
85. Yeah, I was 84, so we started with Menser. Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I've still got Red Box.
Oh yeah, mine's falling apart, man, but it's still there. The corners have been taped up over and over again because they splat. You can make tape them in, but yeah, it's still there, dude.
I mean, I don't think I've got pretty much any of my original books, because there was a time when I wasn't really playing D&D at all, and I'd sold my books and put them on eBay and stuff, and then like I had massive regret later, and then I basically just bought pretty much every old RPG again.
Wouldn't it be great if you came across your actual book, like your name in the book, and you bought it secondhand?
Yeah.
Yes, here it is again. That'd be fantastic.
It'd be lovely if somebody still got one of my old books with my name in, and they sell it me back for double.
Yeah, if anyone out there has Glynn Steele's old book, please send it to him. Reach out. Yeah. He's everywhere. He'll even autograph it, maybe give you a copy of Middlelands for free. I don't know.
I got. I used to go on eBay and buy lots of books of people selling their stuff, and some came from the books. And what I used to do is I just take out the things that I want for my collection and then sell the rest, and that would pay for the amount that I pay for the things. So I get the stuff for free. Yeah, basically. But eBay is very smart now. It never used to work out spelling mistakes. So if you search for dungeons, you could spell dungeons slightly wrong, and you'd get the listings where it was spelt wrong. Whereas now it kind of self-corrects it, and it knows the game. So I've got quite a few good bargains by people misspelling their listings.
Nice. I did a Craigslist thing back in the day. Did you have Craigslist out there in England?
I don't think we have it. We've got a few similar.
Online bulletin classifieds. I bought a few hauls for like people selling their collection for $100, and it's like it probably is worth 3,000. I'm like, take it all. I'll take it all. Yeah, man. So 85 rather, with Mensa Red Box. How old were you? What got the
I bet I would
age shame
like 14, 15.
Okay, about the same age.
So it's 2025 now, so I'm 53. So
yeah. We're about the same age. So then what were you reading at the time, man? What kind of fantasy books were you into? What was your favorite? Because we all did it, right? We are, besides
I'm not a massive, for a guy that publishes books, I'm not a massive reader.
Really? Okay. All right.
But back then, what did I? So Raymond E. Feist.
Oh yeah.
Magician, Silverthorn, Darkness at Second.
Yep.
Fantastic. Really into those. Massive. The Dragonlance trilogy, the first three.
Yep.
Lord of the Rings, obviously.
Yeah.
So I did read a few others, but they don't. I can't even remember what they were called.
Yeah, I love.
Yeah, so those were about the kind of some of my novel reading. Like if somebody says, "Oh, what Appendix N have you read?" I'll be like, "Okay, let's not answer this question because it's going to be embarrassing."
Yeah. It's funny. You have to turn in your old school card if you didn't read all of them, right? I know. I've hardly read any, except maybe if I read them and then found out they were in Appendix N. It's not like I started. I'm going to try starting to read all the Appendix N books again, just because I want to get through them. I'm going to read the Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser books again. I just read 3 Hearts and 3 Lions for the first time. I did a little Substack post on it. But Feist, those Raymond Feist books, he was my favorite. And it's weird because you read the books and it sets a framework in your head as to how D&D should be as well. And all my campaigns and adventures have always followed, I guess, that model. You know, you start out with this little nothing from nowhere, and then you end up being the greatest warrior, greatest magician, and it's always that. And that fits the whole, you know, adventure conqueror king scenario where you start low, you get high in the world, right?
I mean, when you read books that are about that age, like they're foundational.
Yes,
especially for role playing, and the old books like the Red Box and the stuff, they're foundational. Which is why I think we're all kind of still into this and really like that old school style, because the kids nowadays, they'll remember their 5e books, and when 28th edition's out, they'll look playing 5th edition. You know.
Yeah. No, I agree. And you're rocking old school essentials. Is that your go-to game system?
I've played that most recently. Also, another game, and this isn't old school. It's called Gaia Complex.
Like Earth, GAIA. Yeah. Huh, I never heard of that.
Let me grab it 1 second.
And if you'll notice that Glynn isn't wearing pants and he's not wearing tidy whities like Eric Pinkard does when he stands up. So you're all there. We go. So the Gaia Complex. Okay. Interesting.
So it's basically cyberpunk game, but it's actually it's created by a really good friend of mine called Chris Shepperson. And Shep's worked for Modiphius, Monolith. You know, he's worked on some real good IP. He's currently working for Army Painter. So he's had to kind of shift out of RPGs into the paint guys over in Denmark. But he wrote the Gaia Complex. There's 3 other books. I've done quite a bit of work for him, but we wanted to give the system a go as well. So we've been playing that. The most recent thing that I've played is playtesting my own system stuff that I'm creating, which isn't. Nobody needs me to write an OSR system. There's enough of them out there.
What's the flavor of it? I mean, I know the Midderlands flavor, but what's the flavor of the system? How's it fit? How's it, you know?
It's designed to be multi-genre, so you can use it for anything.
Okay.
So the initial incarnation of it's written based for fantasy, but I ran a game where I totally switched it out, but used basically the same rules. And it was set in 2048 in Ukraine, and you were mercenaries, and you needed to go to some fuel processing plant, and that all worked great. So that proved that I could pretty much swap it out as it is.
Yeah.
You know, you're just changing casting spells for using psychic ability. You know, cybernetics or whatever you want. So it's very Twilight 2000-esque, gotcha. Which is what I'm aiming for. So yeah, that works well. But it's basically D10s.
Okay.
And you have a pool of D10s you roll, and 9s and 10s are successes.
Okay.
So and you have to get multiple successes to achieve better things. So yeah, but anyway, we were playing that, and that worked out quite well. So I'm pretty much settled on my system now. So
yeah.
I didn't want to do a house ruled OSR system because I've got 300 behind me. And
I know. Tell me about it. I'm trying to write up my own little thing where it's I was making my own rules heavy OSR game, blah blah blah. You know, based in like the 2E 1E. I guess chassis engine, whatever, and I was slapping on some 5e shit to bring it, you know, maybe I'll bring some new school folks over and make it relatable. But then I had this idea one night. I was like, you know, I wonder what an old school 5e Ranger would look like. And then I said, I'm going to write that thing just as a mental exercise. I started doing it. I'm like, you know what? I can't just do this. I need to change the skill system. I was messing with that. And now I need to change this. And I need to change that. And like, Jesus Christ, I'm writing a whole new system here. And then I was like, you know, I'm basically taking my old school thing and dropping it into the 5e chassis rather than taking 5e elements and dropping it into the old school chassis. So I'm like, this is probably more relatable to people. So I grabbed the Creative Commons license and I started beating the crap out of it, deleting a lot, adding a lot, changing a lot, editing a lot. And so I'm using a 5e chassis. Thank you, Wizards of the Coast. You know, a good thing I ever freaking did, right? And I'm just going to take their shit and make it my own and sell it maybe someday. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, like designing systems from scratch is really, I was going to swear then.
Oh, feel free, dude. The only thing you can't say on YouTube anymore is the C word.
Damn!
And even if you say you can drop the F bomb all over the place, but not the C word. I know that's the English thing. They drop the C word for every other word, so you got to watch out.
It could be. We could say it in an affectionate way as well.
That's it. Yeah, yeah. It's a universal phrase out there. Out here, though.
Yeah. You know. But yeah, designing your own system actually is really hard. And the system that I kind of been working on, I've been working on it for years. And what happens with me is I spend a load of time working on it because I've got a gap in the schedule. And I'm like, right, I'm going to focus on that. Spend loads of time working on it, and then freelance or whatever takes over. And then it can be like 2 months, whatever, before I get to look at it again. And when I look at it again, I'm like, that doesn't really work like maybe I hoped it would work. So actually, these periods of time where I'm away from it and I come back are actually really valuable because it's much more objective when you're immersed in it.
Yes,
like you can't see the wood for the trees, and so I do find that every time I've done that, I've made it better. To the point now where I'm pretty happy with it. I think most things work now. But the one thing I would always recommend doing is build your weakest adversary, and build the strongest adversary that you'll ever have in your game. Yeah, because that sets the 2 benchmarks for power levels.
Interesting. Like the goblin and the Tarrasque or whatever, basically, right? That sort of
thing. Or some god or something like that. Because initially I had an incarnation of the system where there wasn't enough range in the between, you know, being really powerful. Like you couldn't create enough pluses or, you know, enough dice pool to be tough. So it meant that like you didn't really have much options in between. So that ended up getting scrapped. Yeah. But yeah, build the worst thing that you possibly can, and that's nothing will ever be more powerful than that.
That's pretty good. It's pretty cool, man. I like that. If you are designing like your system right now, because I've been back and forth in my head with this stuff, because I don't consider myself, I could publish an RPG, but I don't consider myself a game designer, because I look at it, game designing, as for most people, you're not starting with first principles and building on that. You're starting with something else and hacking it. Most people, right? Like, you know what I mean? So I look at me as like, there's a difference between a car mechanic and an engineer who works for Tesla, who designs a car. You know what I'm saying? I look at myself as a tinkerer. I'm messing with shit. I'm tweaking. I'm adding. I don't consider myself. I could publish 10 games, but it will never be an original Joe game, because it's always going to be standing on the shoulders of D&D, because that's where I live. Right? I don't think first principles. What do you?
So I think if you think about all the games that you've ever played and like most of it's been done. Like most of the rule systems kind of exist for, say, skills or feats or whatever. Yeah. And sometimes I think there can be, if you're trying to be unique. Yeah. And that's a real driving for you want everything to be unique. Sometimes you end up making something that doesn't work because you're trying not to do something that actually works much better, but it just happens to already exist. Yes. Yes. So it's fine to take mechanics from like one aspect of another game system that really works well for your game system, and that's because there's only so many things you can do with dice, really.
That's it. Yeah, you got a handful of dice.
Yeah. So you know, and where people have tried to do that, tarot decks or playing cards, it's kind of just another different way of generating a random result. So
it's a gimmick for the sake of gimmick rather than for the sake of a good game.
Yeah, it can be for trying to be different, which is kind of what I'm getting at. You know, don't try to be different for the sake of it, because you might be limiting yourself in some way.
Yeah.
So I would always say, like, if you think of a good way, it just happens to exist, then maybe that's the best way.
Yeah, and especially if it's free to use because of the Creative Commons license. You know, I'll steal it. As
well, most mechanics can't be copyrighted.
Can't copyright anyway.
We think
that until they challenge us in court, right? Yeah. Then we can't afford to defend ourselves, and then next thing you know, there's a precedent set, right? So but like you said, steal from enough sources, as Austin Walker says, you steal from enough sources, it starts to look original. It's true. You know, I just steal from everything.
The welcome to the £1,000 or whatever it is I earn from game design. So I'm sure my impact of using somebody else's mechanic won't harm them at all in any way whatsoever.
The more love is out there in the OSR, the better. You know, sharing, and that's kind of what the DIY thing is. You know, what is the OSR to you? What do you consider it to be? This is the loaded question of the day, or maybe one or few loaded questions of the day. But what do you think it is?
Is this like the definition of you know, which game qualifies itself as OSR?
Maybe, or maybe you lay out principles that would be able to help people qualify a game as OSR or not, right? So, like, people have the debate of, is Shadow Dark OSR? I don't know, right? That kind of a thing. It's an OSR adjacent. Is it truly OSR? Stuff like that. Like, what do you consider to be OSR in general, and then what do you consider to be an OSR game?
Yeah, I've thought about that a few times, and then I've thought, you know what, nobody's yet been able to really define it, so there's not much point in trying. But you know, I mean, to me, I guess, I think it's tailored to the individual. So for me, I started with Redbox. And I would say that there's a number of incarnations of a system that you can be past that, and then anything after it's new. So I would say Redbox and all of the systems prior to that are definitely old school. And then probably a couple of systems. So 1E I would classify as a bit old school. 2E not so much. So I think I can go one new edition past where I started, and then anything prior to that is OSR. But if you started later, then one edition past that, your goalposts have moved slightly. So I think it's individual, and I think that's why it's been very difficult for people to nail down, because when you started, like that's kind of set in your goalpost.
It's in your blood,
and people have got.
James Raji.
They've got a different interpretation.
I asked Raji that question, who you've done work with. I didn't realize, and he's basically, his take on it was the original take on what we all thought, what is the OSR back in the blog days, right? His take still remains the same, that the OSR is a system of, a group of game systems and adventures that are compatible with all the old RPGs, all the old D&D stuff from like first edition back. Like if you publish an adventure, right, like this, which you have maps in, right, the Incandescent Grottos, this is OSR not because it says Old School Essentials, but because you could take this and get the Me Red Box, right, and run this with that with minimal tweaks. So that's his take on what it is. And I kind of feel the same way. I mean, it's a simple definition, but it still works.
Yeah. I mean, you can do that with 2E though. Like I could take 2E, and so But some people would say not 2E.
I think 2E is definitely OSR. It went off the rails when it started with this with these bullshit players option books and skills and powers and all that stuff. That's where I think it went off the rails and started verging into third edition territory, like the 2.5E, if you want to call it, right? I think that's where it got into like, the hell is that? You know,
those are the black books with the red, weird font.
Yes.
Oh, I couldn't read those because of the font.
Terrible. And the art sucks.
I'm like, yeah. I mean, I've probably made some bad design choices, so I'm going to keep quiet. But but yeah, I struggled with those books back in the day.
Yeah.
Couldn't bring myself to read them.
They're bullshit. I mean, the art, the font is bad. The art is terrible. And it's a better structural arrangement of the material from the first 2E books. I think it makes more an intuitive layout, but the layout itself is terrible, right? But the organization of it is better, but the layout itself is terrible. I agree, man. I don't even have an eye for that stuff. I have zero eye for any aesthetic like that, but you know.
Yeah, again, it's stand on the shoulder of giants to a degree.
Yeah.
Some layout just I mean, really, a rule book is a technical manual.
Yeah.
So actually, the more simple you make it, just organized in a good way, better. But then you also want it to be kind of arty and cool looking. So you've got to kind of add a few bells and whistles into the design. I mean, if you take things like Mortborg and the more punky aesthetics.
Yeah.
They work. Maybe they don't work as well for me, because that's how my brain works. I like it more technical manual
clean
style layout.
Nice and clean.
But you can still do a little bit with it. Yeah. Because it's a reference book.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed
at the end of the day,
yeah, there's a huge difference in style. I mean, like a divergence in the OSR style. I think that somebody had mentioned to me once, another OSR publisher had said to me, the biggest innovation that Gavin made with Old School Essentials, the biggest innovation he did, because I mean, OSR, Old School Essentials, he had BX Essentials before that. Before that, we had, the hell was it over here? Labyrinth Lord. Looking on my shelf to see the name of it, right? And so it's like a redone of the same thing. But he says the biggest thing that Gavin brought to the OSR is a layout aesthetic. It's a style and a layout aesthetic. And I can't disagree, because the content is the content, right? You can't, I mean, he did clean it up. He made it nice. It made some things make sense. But his biggest contribution is this beautiful style and layout design, which so many people copy. Digest size, bullet points, the whole bit. And so you sort of follow that same aesthetic. It seems like, if you lay these out, right, you have nice, clean layout. I mean, these are more complicated. Obviously, they're not digest size, right? Acts and all that. But that makes a lot of sense. But in terms of, I want to ask you this, and I'm going to share screen here, because I actually, believe it or not, prepped some stuff here. I want to ask you something. I have to share this. I know, it's shocking. It's shocking. So I'm going to share this screen here. Let's see, make sure I got this. We're good, and there we go. So so we have Dolman Wood here. All right, the map book. But what I really want to ask you is about the layout style differences in adventure modules these days, right? Because there's a huge difference that we have. Like if you look at Halls of the Blood King, right? Now you did art in this, you did the cartography for this, right? So
I did the map. I got Gold ENnie award.
You did, this map right here, right?
Yeah. Cartography was a gold.
Yeah, that's the Yogor, I can't pronounce his name, but this is the Gold ENnie you won for this. It's a good adventure. But I look at this, and this is an example, I think, and then you are Cartography, Glynn Seal. This is an example, I believe, of the layout style that was brought by Old School Essentials. I think he really, made his mark, and he made it simple, clean, not a lot of shit, and you could just look at it and nice and clean, right? Now, if you look at someone like, there's a whole different style world out there that still goes back to like the Needle, for example. I grabbed an example of an old school module, right? And so you look 3 columns, a lot of text, a lot of information, a lot of deep stuff for the DM to read ahead of time.
Yeah.
Right.
It's technical manual style.
It's a very detailed book, but there's still folks like Jeff Talanian, right? I love his stuff. I love, like, here's Hyperborea, the Seawolf's daughter, and he is, he's not doing triple column because he knows we're all old and we have bad eyes. He's doing dual column, bigger font, right? So, but he still leans into that old school style with a lot of information in there. It's a very, very different approach. Yeah. I wonder why, like, the old school is mostly old fuckers, right? So, if you look at it that way, a bunch of old people. And I wonder why us old folks are leaning into a style, because a lot of the old school is nostalgia. Why are we all leaning into a style that's so different than what we grew up with? Is it because our brains are slower? The gray matters are declining? What do you think's going on there? It was a shift. It was a hell of a shift.
I think it's more about trying to replicate the feelings that you had when you open these things up, the sense of wonder that you had when you open these things up when you were younger. Like I remember reading modules. So when I first got into it, I wasn't a game master. I was a player.
Yeah.
And the first book, I first played Beckme Red Books. But the first book I ever owned was the AD&D One-E Player's Guide.
Yeah.
And that to me was like this tome of
wonder,
esoteric knowledge that not everybody got to read.
Yes.
And I remember my friend who was the DM saying, don't get the Dungeon Masters and don't get the Monster Manual. Right?
That's how we had to do it. Yeah. I told my brother, never read the DM guide. And he's reading every night with a flashlight, not telling me,
Yeah. So for Christmas that year, I said to my mum and dad, right, I want the Dungeon Master's Guide and I want the Monster Manual. So
yeah.
And I remember when I got those, I was just like, this is like the most amazing book I've ever owned. It's like secret stuff, and I haven't had that feeling since with more modern stuff.
I know.
But I think I still chase it. I've got so many books.
I know, dude. Tell me about it.
It's bordering obsession, I think. But I don't always buy a book to run necessarily. Some of it I'm just backing Kickstarters that I'm working with people on, and I like to kind of contribute. But some of it is I like to look at the aesthetics of it. I like to see how other people are doing things. But yeah, I think we're just chasing the old days still.
So that's why people like the older, like Jeff Talanian style. You're saying maybe that they're looking like, God, this is the old days.
Yeah, because that's what they loved as a kid, and they still want that. They want that feeling, And when you get Jeff's stuff and you open it up, and it does feel a bit like the old days. It's like
it does. His books are solid.
There's a feeling you get from getting these not old books, but books in the old style.
In the old style.
So I think there's a bit of that in it.
I agree.
Arguably, some stuff's a bit difficult to pass at the table. Mm-hmm. But whether I mean the original stuff, all the old D&D modules, I-11, that they were sort of difficult to pass at the tables. It's not in a Gavin's Necrotic Gnome OSE style. And I think as we've got older, we do want it to be easier to run at the table, because we do realise that actually some of the older layouts were a struggle. You stop in mid-game reading like a massive wall of text trying to figure out what's going on. If you can avoid that and keep play continuing, then that's obviously better. But basically, you just need to read it and understand it all before you play it. but we don't have the time.
That's the thing. I agree with that. I was going to lead into that because I noticed, when I was a kid and I'm DMing something, what the hell do I got to do at age 15? Nothing, right? Because we played D&D, that means definitively we didn't have girlfriends. So we had nothing to do at age 15. But so I would buy the adventure module, right? And I'd sit there and read it. Just, in the bathroom at night in bed, blah, blah, for a week before we had a chance to play it. And so this thing is here, right? Because I had kid brain, I could memorize it, understand it. I wasn't, scraping my head and making pauses in the game to do it. But nowadays you want to get something. It's like, you got work, you got kids, you got the wife, you got the house, you got the mortgage, you got the dog, you got the bullshit of life, you got the boss being an asshole, all this shit. And you get home and you got to run the games like, oh God, I didn't read anything. I need something simple. Give me something easy. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Perfect layout format. I can just look at this and just run it without the bullshit. Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I mean, some stuff, you do the bare minimum of prep that you can, and then you're pretty much freestyling the rest of it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the way that I normally have to work, because I just, in between, it's kind of a bit of a busman's holiday as well, running a game these days, because I just I've just been for the whole week buried in, laying out adventures and this, that, and drawing maps. And now I've got to do it for fun as well. I don't, work for fun. I'm very, very privileged. But yeah, I think just having to freestyle stuff these days is pretty much what happens, because I just don't have the time to plan everything in detail.
As a person without a wife or kids, I have the time to do all that stuff. So I go the other way and I prep insane amounts of hours. I'll prep 12 hours to run a 3-hour game. But for me, it makes me so that when I improv, because you're always going to improv, right? Inevitably, you're going to improv. So when you do improv after prepping for all that time, your improv is more based in like a deeper knowledge of us, like if the web of NPCs, like if I'm improvising and I haven't prepped anything, then I'm throwing in a Dolores, the NPC. But if I've prepped so much that I could throw in Dolores, the NPC, and know that she's married to Bill and she's having an affair with Fred, and over here the thief is blackmailing her, Sydney, for blah blah blah. You know what I mean? That kind of shit, right? So it's that's the sort of thing I like. So that gives me more immersion. That's the only reason I do that. Plus, I got the time. So.
I mean, a good example of not having enough prep time, when I ran this game set in 2048 Ukraine, I needed like an abandoned fuel facility, or something I was going to use as well. And I've got Twilight 2000. I was looking through there, and I'm like, there isn't anything here. I'm like, right, Google Earth. So I just went on Google Earth, searched around Poland and all that kind of area. Found this great, out of the way, surrounded by woods, what looked like some facility of some sort. Like, right, that's it. That's the map. Perfect. So doesn't matter how many ENnies you've got. Google Earth.
Yeah, no time. But I mean, the art that you do though is insane, man. I mean, the level of detail in the art that you do. Like I was pulling up your web page, your YouTube page here, and one of the very first video, it's nuts. I mean, I'll pull that up too. I could share this as well, so you guys can see. And by the way, the links to all the Glynn stuff. All right, if you want to buy, is in my description. You'll see a link to his webpage, his store on Drive-Thru, and to his YouTube channel. So. But I wanted to show these guys, this is really something else. Let's see, pull this up, entire screen, and share this. This is Glynn's drawing style. Now, this is like insane level of detail. All right, this is your very first YouTube video, just showing. I mean, this little crazy, man. The detail and the time it takes you. Where I'm Google yanking maps, and you're like taking the time to draw this amazing shit.
I had a run on really loving drawing buildings, so much so that I created a lot of building elevations for the City of Great London book, and I've drawn others since, and they basically became a product called Handy Maps. So you've basically got an elevation of a building on one side of it, all in colour, and it looks lovely. And then on the back, you've got some plans of that building. So you can just quickly pull up a building. If somebody goes in, you've got floor plans for it.
Yeah.
But this was just a piece of art that I think appeared in the Midlands book, just black and white.
It's
Line
amazing.
art.
I mean, how long does it take you to do something like this, like, to make a picture like this?
I would probably spend about maybe 3 hours or something.
Wow.
Doing that.
So this whole picture would take you 3 hours to do?
Yeah. What I used to do is while my girlfriend watches TV, you know, generally it's not anything that I want to watch. I used to just sit there and doodle. So actually, I'd get lots of time to
Okay.
This is, I don't know where I was drawing that, but
yeah, you're doing quality time with the girlfriend and getting some drawing in. It's a nice deal, you know. She can't really complain that way. That's smart, man. That's smart. Yeah. Nice. Well done. That's a good girlfriend hack there, you know. So
yeah. So Handy Maps is the some more in here.
Here, let me highlight you here. I think I could see how the hell to do this. Maximize you. Oh, there you go. All right, there you go. That's all you now. There you go.
So that's like a church, and then on the back you get
very
plans.
Nice. Very nice.
You know, if you need a quick structure, so that's another kind of weird structure with plans on the back. But yeah, this is like a foundry.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool, man. Can I see that again? That was pretty slick looking. I like that. That's very neat. I like that.
And then some plans on the back.
Now, do you go do research for, like, what did the foundry look like in 1500s or something? Or
yeah, sometimes. So I don't know whether you're familiar with a book from Lamentations called The Staffordshire Trading Company Works of John Williams.
I've heard it, but I don't buy a lot of his stuff anymore. Most of the Lamentations should have is from the early days, but I haven't. I haven't bought a lot since he was, but I did buy a shit ton over at North Texas. Okay.
So this is that book.
Okay.
So James got in touch with me and said, "Can you do me 128 maps?"
Oh, Jesus.
I was working full time back then as well.
Oh my God.
And I was like, 100. That's going to take like forever.
Yeah, that's a beast.
And and I thought, I'm not quite. I don't know about this. Yes, enter. And I was just like, oh shit, like. And it was all 17th century stuff. I'm like, it's gonna, like, I'm gonna have to really research that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna spend a lot of time. Anyway, I think it was probably 12 months later. So
let's see here. I'll highlight you again.
So this is basically
wow.
the map of Europe, and it shows a journey on it. And the premise of the book is that this guy is he's basically a spy for the English crown.
Okay.
And he's going around, traveling around, drawing locations. So that's the guy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then basically the book's filled with, probably not very good.
It's very cool, man.
Ships and 17th century locations.
Wow. You know, that's pretty damn slick, I gotta say. That's a useful.
Yeah, so that's his kind of historical research level stuff. But yeah, the shame about that book is really that I couldn't do that project again. Like if somebody said, "Oh, I need 128 pages, 128 maps, and I need medieval structures." Because this is a full-time job now, whereas it wasn't when I did that project, which took pretty much every weekend and every night that I had spare. I don't know whether I could make it work because I'd have to charge for each map, and that would make it potentially totally unviable.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that's probably it's the biggest project time that I've ever spent on a book.
And as you told me, I just pulled it up here. All your rates are out there right now from Monkey Blood Design and Publishing.
Yeah, they're on the website.
Yeah, click on there and you see all the rates if you want to hire Glynn. I guess which leads as a natural segue due to since most of the RPG people I know, they're in the publishing side of it, not as much like you publish obviously, but you all also do a lot of writing and maps and pictures and this and that. What's your take on AI? AI art, AI images. I mean, what you must hate it because it's a job.
So, I mean, I've worked on projects where, like layout projects, where the art provided is AI art.
Yeah.
I haven't worked on any projects that I'm aware of where the writing is AI.
Yeah.
I don't really like doing it. I'd much rather, people got paid to create art because there's some absolutely mind-blowing artists out there.
I know.
I saw a picture the other day that I'm like, that's not AI art. I managed to research the artist, but the amount of people that were saying, "Oh, that's AI," and I'm like, I don't think it is AI. So I did a bit of research. I'm like, no, it's not AI. There's the guy there's his website. But so the risk is now that really good art, people are dismissing as AI, and that's criminal. Because these guys that are making some of this art, and it's not AI.
Yeah,
it can take weeks to create some pieces, and it's getting to the point where it's very easily dismissed.
Yeah,
and I think that's a tragedy.
Yeah.
I mean, I've used a little bit when I'm doing layout, just purely for setting up purposes. But
what do you mean, AI art for layout, or
no? I'd use it for like testing a layout design or something like that, and just see how something looks.
See how it fits in there or something.
Yeah. But I wouldn't use AI art in my own.
Yeah.
Because I can generally draw it or pay somebody, and I'm happy to pay somebody, especially if it's a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Because we might have some revenue for art then.
Yeah.
So, like the latest project that's just come out, which is Rycroft. So, all the art in this was.
This is your project, right?
Yeah. So Rycroft it's a cemetery crawl for Old School Essentials.
Yep.
It was kickstarted. I think most people have got their stuff. So all of the art in here is either myself, John Hodgson, or Wanachoa. So no AI art.
Nice.
And, that's the way I prefer it.
I'm seeing what's going on, and like I follow it. I'm kind of a news junkie. Sadly, I follow social stuff, political stuff, all that shit. So I'm looking at what corporations are doing with AI. It reminds me of the Cold War arms race that we all grew up with, right? Our age, because if you know that another competitor company is diving deep into AI to cut costs, well, goddamn it, you got to do the same thing, right? Because you don't want to get undercut. And so this becomes an AI arms race, and people are investing a shit ton of money into AI in order to, in the long term, be able to fire more people because AI could do your job. And with one person doing the work of 5 because they have AI at their disposal. Now, it's not turning out so well, from what I understand. In a lot of cases, it's turning into a flop because AI is not where people think it is. But I see that same dynamic perhaps happening in the RPG industry where, if you're like Kelsey Dion, I'm not sure. She has Shadow Dark. She made several $1 million. She could afford you. She could afford Larry Elmore. She could afford, and I'm not saying you're expensive. I'm just saying she could afford to pay you something. Whereas anybody else who's just like a shithead, let's say me, right? Go to work, working stiff, dude, come home. I want to put something out there. And I'm thinking, shit, I want to get really good art. And I'm thinking, how the hell do I pay for this? Right. I mean, at the end of the month, you're making the bills, you're paying the rent, you buy a pizza, you buy a bottle of, you have a bottle of whiskey here, and you're good to go. Right. And so it's like, where the hell's the extra money? Especially if you got wife and kids and the family and all that shit. There's no extra money, especially with the goddamn inflation rampant. But you do have this dream, you're going to put out a fucking book. And you see,
and art's expensive. Like good quality art is
very,
money.
very expensive.
And you can only really afford that. You can only really afford that if you're crowdfunding. If you can afford that because you're paying through your salary that you're earning from your day job, then are you realistically going to, without crowdfunding, get the money back from the investment? And the reality is, for most people, you're not going to do it.
No.
And you know, a lot of stuff's, I guess, heartbreaker stuff, and it's, you know, people just want to publish something.
Yeah.
But I think you do have to be realistic about that. You know, there's a lot of competition out there. There's a lot of people creating things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, only some stuff pops its head over the parapet to reach more eyes than just like a sprinkling.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say, like, the stuff that I've crowdfunded, like I've got a goodish reach, but like there's people publishing things at like, I guess, the same level that have got far greater reach than I have.
Yeah.
And that's because I'm shite at marketing. And I'm the kind of person that wants to, if I'm going to pay £1,000 for marketing, I want to be able to measure how effective that £1,000 was.
Yeah.
And I can't do that. Marketing's nebulous. And, you know, I can kind of see through some of my Google Analytics stats on the website and WooCommerce stuff, but it's still not that ideal. And trying to figure out Google Analytics to give you probably very detailed information about how good your marketing is beyond me. I don't have the time.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like, you know, you need to be careful about sinking thousands of pounds into artwork on a project that's got very little influence beyond, like, you know, your friends and family.
That's it.
The 10 people that follow you on Facebook or whatever.
Exactly. I mean, it seems like what my friends, like, you know, Rob Connolly, Greg Christopher, Matt Jackson. But Matt said hi, by the way. He told me to make sure
You know,
he loves you, man.
Yeah, I've got very fond memories of Matt back in the G Plus days, because Matt was creating maps and I was creating maps, and he did. I think it was like a Wounded Warrior veteran project or something, and he was getting people to do maps, so I did a map for that.
That's cool.
He got Mike Schley as well to do a map, which was a very good.
Who?
It was a coup. A guy called Mike Schley.
Oh yeah, he's an amazing guy. Yeah,
tons of wizards maps. Really good, very good technical.
Great detail. Yeah,
artist. Yeah, his stuff's fantastic. I would say he's probably like the best cartographer that I know of.
Yeah. That's modest.
Just because I think so. My background is technical drawing.
Okay.
So when I first started my career in, it was security stuff, and eventually we ended up doing CCTV and access control. But prior to that, it was cell doors for police stations and you know, cell benches in detention rooms and things. But I was a draftsman, so I used to have the old drawing boards with the, you know,
that one right over there. Yeah.
Oh, you got one? Oh, I'd love another one.
I got a where is it? Yeah, look there. I got the T squares up there, and that thing raises up as well. Like it goes higher. Yeah.
Well, the one that I used to have, it was you could kind of lift it up. I mean, it was massive. It was and it had got like a handle on with the arm, and the, you know, and you could move around. So I grew up on that. So I was always doing technical drawing. So I think that's what Mike's stuff is like. My stuff's very hand drawn, whereas Mike's stuff's all exact like technical drawing level stuff.
Squares and triangles, basically, right? Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah. He uses the line tool rather than the pen. That's how I see it. So I've always found his cartography to be like the pinnacle of proper technical cartography.
Yeah,
he's exceptional.
But
there's a lot of great cartographers out there.
You do stuff not just by hand, right? You do stuff not just by hand. You do stuff like on the computer. What software do you use?
So it depends what I'm doing. I do some stuff. I've done some maps recently for Greg Gillespie. So he's the Barrowmaze Helix map, which is like a 3D town. So I've done some of those types of maps for a project coming out soon for his geography atlas world. So those are all hand drawn, but sometimes with the 3D stuff, I'll build a model of a town in SketchUp.
Yeah.
Just so I can make sure the proportions are about right, and it's there's nothing outstanding or glaring that look odd. And then basically use that as a trace on a light pad and just hand draw it all. So I do tend to do that for black and white stuff.
Okay.
But then other stuff, color primarily. I'll draw that in a program called Art Rage, which I've got a graphics tablet and a pen, so it's kind of hand drawn, but it's just done in the program. Yeah. And then I do all the coloring and texturing. There's some examples of that kind of stuff on.
Like what about
website?
This just I received in the mail. I'll show myself just because I think this Stonewood, right?
Yes.
Right? Yeah, here we go. There we go. This is an amazing map, and it's the cloth is awesome. I mean, the whole feel of this thing. I'll bring it in a little bit closer. Get a sample so people could see it here. I mean, look at the level of. I'm gonna hold it still so you can look at the level of detail. Look at that, and just awesome. What did you use for this? How'd you do that?
So the map, the artwork of the map itself is done in Art Rage.
Art. How you spell art?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Art Rage, all one word.
Art
and Rage. And then all of the markups and the roads and the rivers and all of that kind of stuff was all added in Adobe Illustrator.
Okay.
I hate Adobe Illustrator. It's the most unintuitive piece of software I've ever used in my entire life. I don't know why it exists. But anyway, as Gavin will tell you, I love Adobe Illustrator.
Yeah.
But he does a lot of his stuff in Adobe InDesign and Illustrator Photoshop.
Okay.
That was one of the requirements. So I was like, okay, seeing as it's you. So it was a bit of a mixture, and that tends to be the theme. I'll draw something in one program, and then I'm going to add labels on and do something else in another program.
Okay.
But the Affinity suite, so Affinity Designer.
Yeah. Whoop. Oh, Jesus. Whoa, we just lost Glynn. What happened? I didn't see him click a button, but there he is. He's back.
And what happened there?
That was weird. Yeah. I thought I'd be the one. We're having a big storm here in Connecticut called a nor'easter, where you got a lot of northeasterly winds blowing power lines and trees down. So I thought I'd be the one to lose power.
Might be because I opened up another browser window.
Okay. Crashed you out. Yeah. No, but I have Affinity for the publisher, Affinity Publisher. I'm trying to learn how to use that. And as I was browsing your videos, man, you have how to use Affinity Publisher to create a zine in a zine form. I'm like, this is perfect. I'm going to learn because I want to try to minimize the cost. I know I have no sense of aesthetic layout or art or anything like that, but I know I can learn how to use a program, right? So if I can minimize my costs on publishing something by laying it out myself and get a tutelage from you watching your videos, that's fantastic. That's something like that. That's fantastic. So I want to learn that, but I can't draw for shit. So
Affinity Affinity Pub. So the first program I use for that, I'm just looking in chat. I'm very rubbish at looking at chat and talking. I can't do two things at the same time.
Yeah.
My autism level brain.
I get you.
Somebody's talking about PageMaker. I never used PageMaker, but the first program I used was a program called Page Plus, and it was by the same company that now release Affinity Publisher.
Yeah,
Serif. And I got to learn that program inside out, so I got very good at it. Then it was actually a project for Frog God Necromancer Games.
Yes.
I'd suggested to somebody, it might have been James Spahn actually, that it'd be great to bring the Midlands to do a 5e version, but there's not much point me doing it because I don't have access to a 5e fan base or anything.
Yeah.
And then I think it might have been Zach that reached out and said, a little bird tells me that you want to do the Midlands 5e.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I think it'd be good. So, time moves on. And the agreement was that I would create a 5e layout version, which would be a bigger book. So the original, so that's the size of the original Midlands. Copy.
Yeah.
And then we do a US letter size version of it for 5e.
Is it just expanded bigger, or did you have to really just change everything about it?
I redid all of the maps. It's obviously less page count because it's a bigger book. But yeah, I coloured all of the artwork. So it's like full colour layout, whereas the original is just black and white.
Yeah. Tinted with green.
Yeah. Apart from the green. So yeah, that part of that agreement was that I would do the layout in InDesign.
Yeah.
So that they could have the files for their, records and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, okay, I've never used InDesign.
Oh.
And now I've got this huge project, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. I've got a habit of doing that.
You have a habit of doing this. Sure, James. Sure.
Yeah. And I think that's one of my. It's not failing. Actually, I think it's been a real advantage to basically say, yes, I'll do that. I'll figure it out, and then figure it out. I'm good at figuring things out. So I basically crash course myself in design on YouTube, and pretty much figured out how the things that I thought I need to figure out how to do the indexing and how to build a table of content. So I figured all that out, did the layout, redid all the colour work, and then after it, I thought, I've just done basically a whole book layout in InDesign. Now I know InDesign. I can do table of contents. I can do indexing. There's not really anything that phases me about that now. So I decided, because there were some better features in InDesign than Page Plus, to switch to InDesign. So I bought the subscription, and I've been doing all the books in InDesign since. But I did buy Affinity Publisher because I was very interested to know whether it could do all the things that I could do.
Yeah.
In InDesign, there were some deficiencies with it that made me think I still need to use InDesign.
Yeah.
They fixed all those now. So if somebody said, should I use InDesign or should I use Affinity Publisher? I would say, if you're just doing it for yourself, Affinity Publisher all the way. If you're doing it for other people, you might want to consider InDesign.
Why is that?
But yeah, I like Affinity Publisher's fantastic.
Why if you're doing it for other people, use InDesign? Does it have more features, or is it?
Because it's more industry standard. So if you're doing some layout work for a bigger publisher,
I see.
It's more
for other people. You meant for people who are hiring you, rather than for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're contracted to do it for
Gotcha.
another client. but yeah, I'm still very proud of the Midlands 5e layout. I really like it.
Now,
it turned out to be a great book.
have you played 5e? Have you ever dabbled in it?
I have played it. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. I'm talking about the 2014 version.
Yeah, me too. I bought the 2025. It's somewhere back there just to see, what I could steal from it essentially. But yeah, no, I'm never gonna play it. It's shit.
Yeah, I've concluded. The latest D&D stuff. It's just not. It's not created for me. So I'm not going to get angry about that. It's just the way it is. Things move on, and I've got all these other games that were created before that serve all my purposes. So
agreed.
I don't really need to lose much sleep about it. But yeah, probably 3E was. I bought 4E and we played 4E.
Ooh.
Felt very chess-like. Didn't really feel like I was playing like I used to. And I did buy 5E and we had a couple of games. I think we were playing one of the adventures, Storm King's Thunder. Maybe? Yeah. Well, we kind of got probably about 10 sessions in. And then
gave it up. All their adventures. I mean, the 2024 core book, I call it good enough D&D, where it's like I'm not in love with it, but I don't hate it. Right? Yeah. Their adventures, on the other hand, are the beginning ones were better than the later ones. The later ones were pure shit. Yeah. The beginning ones, I looked at that as they have elements that are decent. That if I took this from that one and this from that one and did some sort of duct tape and bubblegum situation, I can make something for myself and add my own elements to it. And I got some maps and some stuff. That's how I kind of used it. But for the most part, and I got a shit ton of it over there I bought. Up till Tasha's Cauldron of Bullshit, everything was decent enough I didn't feel like I got ripped off when I bought it. After that, it was all over,
Yeah, I think that was the time I stopped kind of buying them around there, and Xanathar's something or other. But yeah, I've still got the starter set, the essentials kit, and the books. But I think that will probably be the last official Dungeons and Dragons stuff. Because I think the benchmark for me is when I open the book up and I see lots of smiley, happy faces. I'm like, oh, I want a bit of danger, risk, and edge, and I want to see some blood splats, and that's what I want.
Did you see the new starter set, dude? Did you see that piece of crap? That new starter set they came out with?
I think there was something online.
It was terrible, man. I'm reading through it, and it's supposed to be keep on a Borderlands. You get to the keep, and you start doing these bullshit quests like my goat is missing. Can you find him? How the hell is a goat missing in a keep? The thing is, it's in the keep. Yeah. And another one is, the innkeeper says, I'll give you a free night or whatever in my inn, but I don't want to get up early. Can you get up early and wake up some of the other people, but don't wake up anybody else? I'm like, how is it? What will Conan? Here's my, as I was thinking about this morning in the shower, do my best thinking in the bathroom, either in a shower or on the porcelain throne. And I'm thinking to myself, if Conan walked into the keep and the woman said, find my goat, he goes, I will find your goat, kill your goat, and eat your goat. This is what would Conan do, right? That's what would Conan do. This is not a Conan style adventure. Everybody's, like you say, smiley, happy faces. This is evil shit. You got to go kill and survive and live, and you're grizzled and scarred and battered and like PTSD and 1,000 yard stare, and you're like, that's D&D. Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser and Conan. This happy ass bullshit here. Come on. What is that? Anyway, I rant over. Sorry.
I get it, and I mean, some of my most memorable sessions have been kind of borderline horror. Like rooms you don't want to go in, that kind of stuff. I guess it's like an age and an age thing to a point.
We didn't grow up with trophy awards.
The 70s, and spent all night and day playing outside and climbing trees and breaking bones and
wandering until the streetlights came on. And that was it. Yeah, a whole different thing, you know. Yeah, Agile Monk says it's definitely not your grandma's Keep on the Borderlands. I completely agree. Nor is it my Keep on the Borderlands. I didn't even start with that. I have actually never played it or run through it, but I have obviously we all have it, right? We all read it. It's like we get it. This isn't a great advice in it from Gary, and it's like a really good adventure. And what the hell they did to it, I can't even imagine, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a stark divide between 5e players, the new school and the old school. How would you? Any ideas on how to bring disillusioned, disaffected 5e players into the old school? How would you get them there?
I think Shadow Dark's doing that, isn't it? You know,
it seems to be. It does seem to be.
Because there's not for its success that's not OSR only people making that the success that it is.
Agreed. Agreed.
Otherwise, you know, there'd be loads of OSR £1 million Kickstarters. Yeah, it's because I think Kelsey's done a fantastic job of marketing.
Yeah,
she's very personable. She's
a
nice person, and fair play. You know, I'm sure we all wish we could. Well, I say that. I think I would probably not want $1 million Kickstarter. I can see that being a huge stress.
Really? Why?
Because then I've got to turn it into a business. I need to employ people. I've got to have health and safety policies. It's just like
HR departments.
Yeah. First thing I would do is employ a managing director to manage it all.
Do you think do you really need that for this scale? I mean, she has fulfillment. She has her wife is doing the marketing. She does the writing. She figures she's probably the project manager, it seems. She hires people to do the art, blah, blah, blah. She puts it together, and then she publishes it. What do you really need that big of a business for? Look at James Raggi. For all he's doing it, it's just him, right? So,
but I think I'm much more of a creative. So all the project management side of things, I like. It's a secondary thing for me. I don't get a lot of joy out of doing it.
Yes.
Whereas if I'm sitting down colouring a goblin, you know, that's
your happy place.
I'd rather do that. Yeah. Well, I'll colour a goblin in every day rather than do all this bullshit admin, accountancy crap that you've got to do. And you know, I spend so much time doing administration and responding to emails and all of that kind of stuff, that sometimes it's hard to find the time to do what's actually generating the
money.
Because the rest of it's like it's dead time. But you know, I'm making that sound like it's a terrible curse, and it really isn't, because I'm exceptionally lucky to do this full time.
Are you full time? You are full time?
Yeah.
Wow.
Every day, most evenings, weekends, apart from Sundays. So yeah, I certainly spend a lot of time doing it. I wouldn't want to do anything else.
That's awesome, dude. You're living the dream, man. I mean, you think about that. Is when we were kids in 1985, we're rolling our crappy ass dice that are all round right now, right? And the crayon colored in, you know, and we're playing this game and we're having a blast with our friends and brothers and whatever. You know, and I can't even go back in time. If I told myself back then that someday I'd be doing whatever YouTube is, right? You know, 40 years later, what this is, and then maybe publishing my own thing, and I can't imagine my kid brain would even accept that as a reality, you know.
I like it. Sometimes I'll get like an opportunity where I'm just like, I can't quite believe that I'm kind of got involved in this. It's an honor, really. And they're even going to pay me. Like, how does that even work? But yeah, I remember when Jeff Talanian first got in touch with me, because I kind of knew about Jeff, and I knew he was like, he'd been very close with Gary. And, so I was having a conversation with Jeff and talking about Gary. I was just like that's probably as close as close as I could sort of get. But I did meet. I did some work actually for Jeff Talanian.
Yes.
That was on a project for Luke. And I remember Luke was at UK Games Expo in Birmingham, and I went over and had a chat with him, and shook his hand, and
that's cool.
He'd got the book on the table that I'd done the art in. I did some colouring on a cover as well. So it was really nice to say, oh yeah,
that's your one degree of separation there,
Yeah, that's as close as I could get. So
whenever I got together with Jeff at a bar at a convention or something, I said, dude, he worked with Gary. What was it like? And I feel bad because I don't want to just talk to him because he knew Gary, and I don't. Yeah, I love Jeff; he's a great dude. But at the same time, I mean, I can't. There's never enough stories where I could hear him talking about the days of working with Gary, right? But this is an example. You did this for Jeff, right? The map for his world.
Yeah, it seems like such a long time ago. That does as well.
Yeah. No, this is awesome. There's the map itself. This is low res, obviously, so you're not seeing the detail on the map. But then as you go further into the book, you're going to see each area broken out in greater detail. Let me scroll down to something so you can actually see some meat here. Sorry, there we go. We're getting some of the islands here. And so, he has the inset. There we go. Then we got some meat here. So you did all this, right?
Yeah, that was all you. Hand drawn on a piece of paper.
Are you serious? That's all hand drawn?
It was massive. Yeah, it was a massive piece of paper.
Jesus, man.
And I had to take it to a company to get it scanned digitally. Wow. It's all hand coloured in as well with coloured pencil.
Really? This is like Crayola colored pencils? This is what you used here?
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah. And I took it to get it scanned at a place that had got a massive scanner.
Yeah.
And it
that's amazing. That's amazing you did that pencil.
Yeah. What's funny, I missed an island off it. This is secret knowledge, this is.
Oh, okay.
If you scroll up
here.
Yeah.
All
see
right.
if I can find okay, there somewhere. I think it was that one, yeah. Where Eskimo Bay is.
Yep, okay, I see it here. Yep.
The island on the right-hand side of that.
This one here?
Yeah, I think I missed that off. So when I had it scanned, that didn't exist.
Oh, really?
And Jeff found it and said, I've got a problem. So you've missed an island. Oh, crap. So yeah, that was added in digitally. But the actual map itself was a Kickstarter reward, the physical map. So somebody's got that map somewhere.
Really? No shit.
Yeah, the actual hand-drawn.
Wow, that's awesome, man. I know, Jeff. I've seen the first time I saw this map really in close face up here was I saw it at a convention in Massachusetts, right over the border, 2 hours from north of me, called TotalCon. And Jeff was there, and I was happy. I got to play in his game. I got to hang out. But it was the first time, And he had this map, this canvas map that he laid out on the table. I was like, holy shit, that's great. I love the whole concept because, man, you grow up with the Darlene map. It was so nice. It was precious. You don't want to taint it. I'm like, Jeff's laying this $100 canvas map on a table with a bunch of drunks because that's, that we're going to knock something over, spill shit there. This is like, Jesus Christ.
He did send me the canvas one. I think I've got it somewhere.
Do you have a copy of the canvas one?
I think I do have the canvas one.
All right.
I think it's squirreled away in a roll-up tube.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we're coming up to almost the hour and a half mark. I know you said we pop a break. I am known for two things in the OSR: good hair and tiny, tiny bladder. So if you want to take a quick break here, we'll hit the head. You're good to go.
I'm okay. I like if you need to take a break, I'll just take one at the same time.
All right. Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah, well, we'll come back in a couple minutes, guys. So we will be right back. And I think what better thing to do than to share this screen with y'all so we could see Jeff Talanian's map here, and we will be right back in a couple of minutes, guys. Okay.
Okie dokie.
All right, and I'm going to mute myself here so I don't hear the toilet flush. Be right back.
Okay.
All right, I'm back. Yeah, so tiny bladder. Sorry, guys. Anywho, when Glynn is out there doing his business, I figured what better time to talk about what we're going to be doing after this. So after the show ends at 5, Glynn has graciously agreed to do a members only stream for about a half an hour. So that means you guys, whoever is a member of the channel, you could join for like 99 cents a month, and join and cancel the next month. It doesn't matter. But if you wanted to talk to Glynn, you can be, I'm going to put out the link in our members only chat. Okay. I'm going to have a link so you could click the link and join Restream. And you need a Restream account, which takes all of like 19 seconds to set up, but you could join on Restream and join in a video chat and hang out with Glynn for a half an hour. So anybody who wants to become a member, there's a link below on how to do that. All right. So it's very easy to do. And I also have the ability to give 10 free memberships a month to people. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I could do that through YouTube. I gave 5 out last night. I'm going to give 5 out today. All right. So right now. So I'm going to give 5 memberships to people. It may not be people who are here right now. It could be anybody. You're going to get a random ass gift of a membership, but here we go. Let's see who gets them. All right. So, okay. Boom. All right. So we have 5 memberships given out here. We have Ryan Nilsson, Jacob Hook, John Osborne, Bag Full of Dice, and Generic Edgelord. That's the win right there for the name. So you guys are now channel members. You have the ability to join in. Nice, Staccato. Nice, man. You have the ability to join in our members only chat. That's going to pop at around 5 o'clock. All right. So hop in. Like I said, and that's a separate stream. It's not going to be this stream. All right. I think it's awesome. It's right there right now. You won't even see it unless you are a member. All right. So become a member for 99 cents. You'll be able to see the members only stream as you could join up and watch it, and then pop in. I'll give you the link. You could pop in and just bullshit with us for a while. Bring your own beer. All right. So you're good to go, man. You're good to go. Yeah. So Glynn is all his stuff. You have links below, guys. You could pick up the Midlands. Click on the link there to get it from Drive-Thru. It's a really, really great book. And you have a link to his Monkey Blood design page as well. That's in there too. So that's where he sells stuff at his own, his own personal store there. So we'll get into all that sort of thing next. I figure next time we'll get into the whole publishing business. That might be the next sort of topic du jour here. Yeah. So we'll get into all that stuff too. How do you like it so far, guys? Do you have any questions for Glynn so far? Anything you want me to definitely ask him or address? I'm trying to keep track with the chat here and what you guys are talking about, but I want to make sure I get anything in there you guys want to talk about too. So any questions you guys have, let Glynn know. And he's back. Glynn he told me before, he has a long walk to go through a yard to get to the house, to get to the bathroom. Mine is 10 feet away, so I could pee in a second,
Yeah. So because I've moved in with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And there's not enough room in our house to house my ridiculous book collection.
I get it.
So I had a room built in the garden, which is kind of my office studio.
Yeah.
And but unfortunately, if I need to go to the toilet, I've got to run down the garden, down the stairs, into the house, into the conservatory. And my girlfriend had locked the door into the kitchen, so I couldn't get in.
So you just piss in the garden, hell with it, man.
Yeah, I consider it.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm a bit out of breath.
No worries, man. You have to run, dude. It's no big deal. No big deal, man. Yeah. So I was just telling about our after this show stream that we're going to do. So at 5 o'clock, you agreed to do a members only. So because if you're a member, you'll see the link to the show. If you're not a member, you won't even see the link. But if you're a member, you see the link to it, 99 cents. Even just join up for a month and cancel the next month. No big deal, right? Then I'll give you the link to join in. We can video chat live with Glynn here. So it's kind of cool. I just gave away 5 memberships to people. So random memberships. So you're all good guys. They may not be watching right now. They're probably wondering, how the hell did I get this for free? But yeah, memberships are out there. So I figured let's get into the whole publishing thing. Your side of it, man. Like, I know how you got into it and all that, but what is what does your work day look like? Like you get up in the morning or whatever your day is or whatever. What is your typical work day? You get up and it's Monday, and let's say you're not doing a YouTube video with this crazy dude from Connecticut. What's your day look like?
So I mean, it can depend. So assuming the diary's full, which it's pretty much full now. I had an inquiry today, which will probably take up the last slot before Christmas. So yeah, I would say that I'm likely to be booked up now until January. So today I've been doing some tentative layout on a project for a company called Red Ram Studios, just to kind of get a bit of an aesthetic for them to feed back on, to say, yes, I like this, not keen on that, don't like the font or whatever. So layout for me tends to be quite, I like the client to have input. So rather than them just trust me and I say, that's great, you're fine with that. I want them to be happy as well. So if they don't like something, then we change it and we work something that's better. So yeah, I've been doing a bit of that today. Last week, I can't even remember what I was doing last week. More layout probably. So I've got, after this week, I've got some time to spend on the treasure tome for Adventure of Conqueror King Imperial Imprint. That was, like, I think, the last Kickstarter before the current one before all others. Yeah. So that's pretty. I think it will be the last couple of days to get it through for final files. Okay. So that's adding in art and so the layout's basically been done. There's some placeholders been left for positioning art. Alex will get some art and at the relevant size, and then it should just plug in. And sometimes it could be that I've got some cartography to do. So I've just finished some work on Modiphius's Cohors Cthulhu project, which was kind of it's like Romans versus Cthulhu mythos. It had a Kickstarter a while back. I'm not sure whether the books are actually out, but I think I'm working on an expansion book for it. So I just submitted some tweaks to the last map on Saturday. So that's done. But yeah, it can be layout work. It could be cartography. It could be some artwork. It could be writing work. I've done quite a bit of writing. So what's something probably, so in the Necrotic Gnome Adventure Anthology 1, I think there's an adventure I did in there called Curse of the Maggot God. So that's an example of some writing. I'm just pulling up my website. So I really struggle to remember all the things that I get involved in.
Are you an early morning worker, or are you a late night guy? Like
I'm a night owl. I like to have a bit of lie-in, but I'm normally working by 10 a.m. Okay. So yeah, I'm a bit lazy.
What do you think?
But I'll put the hours in, just not first.
Yeah. Doesn't matter where. You do 8 hours a day, or you just work until you pass out? What's your
so some evenings I go in and I have an evening with Kate. But when I don't do that, I usually work till about 11. But once 6 o'clock's landed and I've had my tea and I come back in, there might be some work and then some, do my own things. So yeah, it just depends. Writing work. So I wrote some stuff for Against the Dark Master. Their Secrets of the Golden Throne book that came out. I wrote some stuff for Rob at Paul Pummett Press for his Gods of the Forbidden North Volume 2. I think there's some stuff in Volume 2.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've wrote some. I had a couple of articles in Knock issue 4.
Oh, nice! I have that right over there on the shelf. I love those.
Yeah.
They're fantastic. They're like a Reader's Digest format. Just random shit. Anybody our age knows what a Reader's Digest is, right?
Yeah.
That old book that we would just. I call it shitterial. Reading material when you're taking a shit, and that's exactly what the Knock magazines are. I mean, they're just, you open any random page and you got just good old school goodness sitting there.
Yeah. I mean, you can always find something in there
that's it. Yeah.
Will get your brain thinking. And that's the stuff that I love. I think in the first Miller's book, I call it game juice, which is when you read something and it sparks, say, 3 or 4 different ideas.
Yeah.
That to me is that's gold. That
absolutely.
Yeah.
You have a couple questions in the chat there, Glynn. First one was oh wait, we have a wrong one. Question for Glynn. There it is. I have a Middlelands Witch Pig deck. I love the aesthetic. Are they still available somewhere?
Drive Through RPG or Drive Through Cards. That's where the Witch Pig deck comes from.
There's a link to that below as well, guys. Click on the link and you get right to his page for all this stuff. And then another question was, you have where can I find his rates? And that's on his page. I didn't know that either until he told me before the show. So if you go to Monkey Blood Design, link below, you can find his rates right there. Yeah,
if you go to the freelancing heading, the schedule rates are at the bottom.
Oh, shit. What happened? We lost him? Again? Damn. What happened? Well, I'm sure he'll be back. Wait a minute. There we are. He's back. There, we lost you again, man.
I don't know what's going on.
No,
I didn't open up a new web page, so I don't know why it keeps kicking me off. But anyway, it's easy to rejoin it.
Yeah. And the schedule rates is right here. I mean, it seems like if I'm reading this right, let's say for layout, you're doing is it letter size A4 US letter size, 7 pounds per page. That comes out to about $10 a page. It looks like for layout, and that doesn't count like indexes and post edit kind of shit. So let's say if you're writing a 350 page book, $3,500. Which is fucking good.
Normally there's a charge as well at the start for page design, so it's about £100.
Yeah.
So that basically just creates this is kind of what the look and feel will be.
Yeah.
And then when that's nailed down, we get the text and
the aesthetic is there. Yeah. Speaking of which, what makes a product yours? Like, this is a Glynn Seal map. This is a Glynn Seal drawing, a Glynn Seal product. What would you say makes it yours? Identifiable out in the wild.
It's difficult to say. I mean, if it's something that's drawn, it's probably easier to identify than, say, layout. I mean, I don't know whether I could identify anybody else's layout.
Okay.
If I was familiar, I can. It's all about style guide stuff, really. So, like, if Gavin from Necrotic Gnome came to me and said, I need some layout done for something. Can you do it? I know what his style is. He'd probably give me a template, and then I could make it look like all these other things look like. So you wouldn't be able to differentiate layout. An example of that was I did some work for Goodman Games. They've got a template, and they wanted they do some like 5th edition fantasy stuff, and they needed some layout. They've got a backlog, and they needed some help. Yeah. So they just sent me the template, laid it out in that style. You wouldn't know that I laid that out versus somebody else.
Now, what about maps? Like, if I laid out a map of yours, a map of Dyson Logos, and a map from Matt Jackson, is there a difference? What is the difference between the three of you?
Well, it can be subtle, but I could tell you which one was Dyson, which one was Matt Jackson, and which one was obviously mine.
You know yours,
yeah, because people's hands, like, they don't always draw things the same as everybody else. One of the key indicators of the old school styles are the way that people fill their walls and draw their doors and, you know, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm imagining, like, yeah, there's some people that have drawn stuff that's very close to Dyson. Like, and I thought to myself, they're very good.
Yeah.
You know, they're a very close copy of Dyson stuff. And then I've seen some people do stuff that's very similar to mine, but they're copying the fill of the walls and the way that I draw brickwork and all that kind of stuff. So they're obviously trying to replicate that, and that's fine. So, but you can still tell if you kind of know what to look for. But then I do a lot of computer generated maps that are very different. They don't look like my normal 2D hand-drawn style. Yeah. So I've got an image gallery somewhere of cartography. So yeah, if you went to the website, can I share my screen? I think I can share my screen.
You can totally share the screen. Yeah, that's great.
Let
me go for it, man.
Select window.
Yeah, you have to choose.
I don't know which one's which. Oh yeah, not screen one. Screen two. Here we go. See if
all right, let me add that in. There we go.
That's one. Perfect.
All right.
Yeah, so I would say kind of this sort of stuff is my usual style.
Why is that? Like, what makes that you?
The wall fill. Just open this in a new tab. I can zoom in. There we go. So what I tend to do is I outline the room in a thicker pen than I would add the details in. So I don't know whether you can see the cursor.
Yep, I see it. Yep.
Yeah, okay. And then, so if you look at where the shadows are, they're done in a very particular way.
Okay.
And then I've got this kind of surrounding brickwork, which is like 2 layers thick, and then large stones and stippling for the wall fill. So that kind of mixture of things would tend to suggest that's one of my maps.
Okay.
But then I do maps that look like this. It's having a think because it's quite a big map.
Wow. Oh man, look at that. What did you use to make that, dude? What software?
Okay, so this is
wow.
This is a mixture of Art Rage and Affinity Designer.
Wow.
So this is Hyborian Age map. It was kind of my sort of fan version of the Modiphius Conan map.
Yeah.
But I mean, if like all of the maps that I do like that style are similar, so you'd probably be able to go, oh, well, that looks like that kind of map done by Glynn.
Yeah.
So there's a few different types of maps that I tend to do.
Okay.
But yeah, for world maps and stuff, I kind of like doing things in this style.
That's awesome.
It's kind of like a bit more realistic. Another one, very similar style. And then this is a dungeon map kind of thing done purely in Affinity Designer, I think. So there's no hand-drawn elements to this. It's just...
There's no hand-drawn elements, you're saying?
No, it's just using shapes and things.
Okay.
I might have hand-drawn in some texture and these wiggly bits over here, but for all intents and purposes, it's computer generated.
And it's the software you hate, right? Affinity Designer.
This is Affinity Designer, which is it's kind of like Adobe Illustrator.
Okay.
But much more user friendly.
Oh, okay. The Adobe Illustrator is the one you hate.
Yeah, hate Adobe.
Okay. I knew you hated something. So just wanted to get
definitely in. Adobe Illustrator. Right, let's just go back to me. There I am. Yeah.
Nice, man. Really cool. I remember Matt was saying, like, I said, Matt, you know Glynn well? He goes, yeah, back in the day on Google Plus, me and Matt and Dyson were all just banging out maps trying to figure out what is the old school map design aesthetic look like. And you guys kind of came up with a look and feel that, minor differences. That's why I asked the three of you. Minor differences, it sounds like, but it's generally, it does have this similar look and feel, and a lot of people have copied.
Yeah, and I remember back in the day making a very conscious decision that I didn't want to draw maps like everybody else was drawing them exactly, because it needed to have my way of doing it. I just kind of came up with the two layers of brickwork and the fill, and I thought, actually, this looks great for me. So I'm hoping it takes quite a bit of time to do, because you're drawing 2 layers of bricks. I think there's a YouTube video where I draw a map on the computer and then color it, so you can watch videos of exactly how I'm doing that.
That's cool.
So yeah, that's the way that I've always tended to draw them, and I think that set my style for doing the black and white pieces.
Now, outside of the creative aspect, right, learning how to use various bits of software and all that, when you talk about the business of being an RPG publisher, you run your own business, Monkey Blood Design, what did you have to learn to be in the publishing business? This is like for other people who may be thinking about it, right? Like myself or others, like what do I need to know? I know I could draw, do this or make a module or whatever the hell it is, but what did you have to learn about the business side that you may want to give other people's a heads up on?
Business side.
Business part,
Okay, so if your intention is to try and do this full time, I would say that you need to set your hourly rate at a rate that is equivalent to the rate for whatever you get paid in your day job.
Okay.
I think there's a temptation when you start that you feel like it's a bit of imposter syndrome, but you feel like maybe you're not as good as anybody else.
Yeah.
Or you're only new to this, so I can't really charge,
Yeah.
And you devalue yourself. Basically, if you're doing good stuff, that the value's there anyway. So you don't need to devalue yourself because your work's worth value. And I think I started off with very low rates, but I was working full time. It didn't really matter, and I didn't really have, at that time, I didn't think I'd end up doing this full time. So over time, my rates needed to kind of creep up. You need to be careful that you don't go from being £10 a map to £100 a map. Because people will go, what the? So I would say just value yourself. Everybody deserves an hourly rate, a living wage, and if your work's good enough and you're putting all the effort in that you can, you'll deserve every bit of that. So don't devalue yourself. Learn to do all of the jobs that need doing. So learn how to draw a map. Not, you don't have to be fantastic at it, but learn how to draw a map. Learn how to try and draw a bit of art, even if it's only filler. Learn how to do some layout.
Why is that?
Because when you're starting off, if you're gonna pay people to do all these things for you, you will never make any money.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Because if you're doing it all yourself, you've got no overhead, really. when you've kind of succeeded a bit more and you've
Yep.
got some money that you can, then you can start giving those jobs to people. But you might find there's a job out of those things that you really like doing, and you'll always do your layout, or you'll always do your cartography, and you'll just pay for the other things, because you can afford to pay them.
Mm-hmm.
But also find some artists that you really like working with. If you don't, some artists can be a bit flaky, so you've got to always build in plenty of scope. Potentially, sometimes maybe even kind of not use an artist that you banked on using,
just because they're not reliable, or
can be. Yeah, I've heard all sorts of stories. I mean, my word is my bond, almost kind of thing.
Yeah.
If somebody comes to me and says I really need this by then, and I've said okay, then it'll happen.
Yeah.
Unless something catastrophic's going on that I can't deal with. But then I'm very open and try to be upfront. So integrity as well. That's really valuable. What else? I would also say learn how to create, if you're doing layout, learn how to create the files needed for drive-through RPG, because it's a very good lesson in how files are required for layout.
Yeah, I saw some of your video. You were talking about that, and you were saying, hey, for drive-through, the bleed has to be here, things like that. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. So I also help people that they've done their own layout, they've got their own art, they've done their own maps, or whatever, but they are totally bamboozled by the drive-through side of things.
Yeah.
They've bought Affinity Publisher and they've done all the layout, and the layout looks fantastic and stuff, but they don't know what to do in getting the files. So I take on some projects where they send me the files, I go through, check, make sure they're all ready for layout, make any adjustments that need to be made, add any extra pages that need adding on, so that you don't end up with like 6 pages at the end that is just white paper. But I also do that for Amazon, Kindle, the KDP, Amazon KDP, Lulu, drive-through. Drive-through has very specific covers as well that you have to provide the covers on templates. So it's very good if you can understand and know how that works, especially if you're doing your own layout, because you'll need to create files for print.
Do you do consulting, Glynn? Like if I like 2 years from now, I got the book here. I'm like, all right, I got it. I think I got a half-assed layout done. And I would say, hey, can I sit with you like this in a video chat or something? I'll share the file. You can pull it up, and you just like show me things. Is that something you ever do?
I've done that for Bulwark Publishing. Yeah, a guy called Bart. He's done quite a few Kickstarters. He was originally, I think, doing all of his layout in Microsoft Publisher, which
I heard it shit. Tim Short's bitches about that all the damn time. He's he's like pulling his, he wanted to smash things, So yeah.
I think Tom at Tom at Throwy Games.
Yeah.
Tom was doing stuff in Microsoft Publisher, and both of those people, so Tom and Bart, they switched to Affinity Publisher, and I know Affinity Publisher very well. Probably know InDesign slightly better, but I'm good. There's a lot of similarities between the two that just go hand in hand. So yeah, I sat through and went through their products and what they needed to do, and I kind of helped Bart with his files, so he got some templates that he could use them for his later projects.
Okay.
And Tom bought Affinity Publisher, and then I basically had a session where I went through kind of how he set things up, and so I think Tom uses Affinity Publisher for his layout now.
All right. Yeah.
Told him how you create the print files for drive-through and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward. But yeah, sometimes reading all the stuff online is confusing. But when someone puts you through it, it's
agreed. Agreed. I've seen so many videos trying to sort of. I wanted to see if I could understand it, not to learn it on the spot, but see if I have the brain to figure it out. And I watched a bunch of videos, and it makes me think I could probably figure it out with time. But to have a tutor or something like that, a hands-on for the dumb questions that are not addressed in the video that people assume because you know what I mean, little things like that. Fantastic,
Well, they're all questions that I had, years ago. I'm like, how does this even work? Yeah. Well, I probably ended up having to figure it out the hard way. But sometimes they're good ways to learn a lesson.
Yes, you never forget it if you learn it the hard way.
Yeah. So I'm pretty dialed into it now. Somebody sent me a screenshot the other day. They were submitting some files for Amazon, and it said, "Oh, the files you've given me, I've uploaded to Amazon, but I'm getting all these error messages. It's like all the pages were trimmed off," and I'm like, well, the layout file's correct. It's the right size. I'm like, when you set the file up, did you tell it that it was a slightly different size? Because we worked on a project before that was this other size. And then he's like, that's it. Yeah. So I kind of was like, oh, well, I managed to figure that out just by looking at the picture. And so, so I must be doing something right.
It's good. Hey, dude, you sound like you work with like a million people. Is there anybody like on the list, on your bucket list of, I really want to work with this person someday? Is there anybody out there?
Rob Schwalb.
Who?
Robert Schwalb.
Why? What is the name is familiar? But
it just strikes me as being a really a bloke that's kind of got the same kind of sense of humor and.
What is his gig? I don't know him. I just know his name. But what is it?
You'll know his products, I'm sure. Shadow of the Demon Lord.
Okay, I heard of that.
Shadow of the Weird Wizard, Punk Apocalyptic. He used to write for Wizards of the Coast years ago. He did quite a lot of work for them.
That's probably where I heard the name. Yeah.
Schwalb Entertainment is his company.
Okay.
Yeah.
You come up with that name real fast, man. That was impressive. You had that boom right there. You were
Yeah. It's not like OSR kind of stuff, but I follow him, and I'm always amused by the way that he writes his posts and stuff. I've backed most of his Kickstarters, I think, as well, and it just strikes me that he's got the kind of the sense of humor. I think the kind of darker sense of humor that I've got.
Okay, which fits the Midderlands completely. This weird, creepy green shit of tainting and mutating everything. Yeah.
He's got layout people. He's got layout people and cartographers that he uses. So I think he's all right. He probably doesn't need my hand. But if he ever asked, I'll be like, yes, come on.
All right, there you go. What would you think is your biggest success ever? Publishing wise, not wife, kids, all that stuff. I mean, biggest professional success, would you say?
Well, probably the first ENnie award.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So the thing with the ENnie awards is, I came from the security background, and I remember being with the company when we applied for an award, because you enter yourself. Yeah. And I went to that award ceremony with the MD and the team, and we won, and we were like beside ourselves. It was like amazing. And so in a very team environment, we'd won this award. We were in London, in the West End, off to the strip club. And it was fantastic, So there was a massive buzz from that. So when I kind of heard about the ENnie Awards, and I'm like, oh, I've just released the Midlands. It's not going. I've just got to send 6 copies to the States, and let's just see. And then it got nominated. So the nominations thing is the judges.
Yeah.
So that to me is getting a nomination is actually quite a big deal, because they're people that don't know you particularly. They don't know your products, but there's something they've seen that they really liked. So that was a huge confidence boost. But then I remember the awards ceremony, because obviously it was 2 o'clock in the morning here when that was going on, and Jason Hobbs, Hobbs and Friends. So he said, if you win the award, do you want me to go up and do your speech? I was like, well, you can if you want, right? But I can't see myself winning, but I'll write one for you. So I wrote a speech, and Jason said he'd go and do it because he was there at the award. And I remember I was lying in bed, and I was watching, and then it got to the nominations, and it was Paizo, I think, had got a product in there, like
the big guys.
Yeah, I think Green Ronin had got a product in there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So I'm just like, well, that's the gold and the silver then. So
yeah.
And I think Paizo got the silver, and I was like, oh, Green Ronin then presumably. And then when they said Glynn, I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
And you're laying in bed watching this shit?
I was absolutely blown away. And then Jason got up and did the speech as well. I wasn't living with Kate then. And I texted her and said, I fucking won. Like, she was like, oh my God.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so but I think as well, some planets aligned a little bit with that, as it always happens with these things.
Yeah.
There was a big push. This was 2018, I think it was. 2018.
Did you get you're looking for your plaque? You got a plaque? I gotta see this. I didn't know you got a plaque. Let's see this shit, man.
So the first one.
Yeah. I didn't know they came with a plaque. Oh, look at this. Oh, nice, dude. Gold ENnie's Midlands. Sweet. You got medals and everything.
Yeah, so that was the first one that I won, and then this one was for Hall of the Blood Kings Cartography. I didn't get a plaque for that because it was Exalted Funeral with a publisher, so I presume they got the certificate, but I got the
very cool, man. Very cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So what happened in 2018 is there was like a bit of a push by all of the OSR guys.
Yeah.
To kind of encourage people in the OSR to vote for the OSR products. And I was the only OSR product in the cartography category.
Oh, nice. So
what I think happened there is, like, it wasn't just fans of stuff that I'd written. It was just fans of the OSR voting. So I got a lot of votes from people that were voting because they were OSR fans, not because they were Monkey Blood Design fans. But
take it and run, man.
A vote's a vote.
Exactly.
But so that's really an example of how that I think that I got the award through that kind of.
That's fantastic, dude.
That thing, but yeah, I mean, it was mental.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Flipping it on its head, though, what would you consider to be your biggest failure, publishing wise, if you have any? I don't know. And what'd you learn from it? Really, that's really the key. What'd you learn from it, if you had one?
I mean, I wouldn't say there's a particular failure. What I find, like when you've spent ages doing some layout or some cartography or something like that, and then you've got the files, you send them to the client, and the client's looked and they've checked and they're happy and it's gone.
Yeah.
And then it gets to print, and then you get the book and you open it up, and the first page you open, it's like, fuck, I fucking bollocks that up. Like whatever it is, it's like, you know, I don't know, like I forgot to put a page number on that page, or you know, some problem with the template, and that sort of stuff tends to happen when you're automating things. Automation it's the bane of existence for me, because as soon as, if I'm not doing things manually, you know, and you automate something, like an example in layout is a client comes back and says, oh, could you change all instances of the word the Mr. Delanian.
Jeff, what's up, man?
Can you change all instances of the word the with then? Well, like that's a bad example, but
yeah.
You then go and do a find and change, and you select the and then change the then, and you go through. There's always something in the layout where the is legitimate and should not have been changed to then.
Gotcha.
And that happens so often. So I don't even do, I really don't like doing that now. So what I do is if something needs changing, I'll find each instance individually and read the context to make sure it definitely needs changing. But it's things like that, you know, some stuff creeps through. I've read books from like Wizards or, you know, Paizo, and I find errors in them. You know, these are huge endeavors.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how many people look at things, there's going to be, you know, countless errors throughout it if you go hunting for them. What I learned is don't lose too much sleep over it, because you know it's everywhere. You know.
Yeah. I was talking to Joe Block about that too. For I saw you have his books up there, Venture Dark and Deep, Ragnard, and he was saying the same thing. It's like whenever he's done, he's like, he finishes and he thinks it's perfect. Like the very first page he'll read or something and see the error. Like, God, you know, it's that kind of thing, you know. I feel your pain. Jeff says, I feel your pain. Global replacement could be an absolute nightmare. Yeah.
We
were talking about a lot of this stuff at ShireCon, and Jeff agreed to be a guest at some point on the show, to suffer through one of these sessions with me. So
I highly recommend it, Jeff.
It's like a colonoscopy, but more fun, you know. Yeah.
I haven't had a colonoscopy recently.
Oh, did you? How was that?
I can compare.
Oh God, it was. I had one when I turned 50. It was the most demeaning, brutal thing I've ever done in my life. I mean, you just feel like a piece of meat that gets something stuck up you. It's like, what in the hell just happened? You know.
You know what? I think the worst part about it was the drink that was on the night before.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's the same in the US, but there's 2 drinks, and you have the one on the evening, and then you have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and have the second one. And the second one is just torture. Brutal. And then you've got to get from your house to the hospital somehow without
blowing your ass out. Yeah, exactly.
Without the tap attached to your arse leaking everywhere.
Yeah. The worst part for me was sitting in the room, because we had this, it was some ghetto hospital style shit where we had like 15 beds in the room, all but a curtain between them. And some of the beds, half of them were people getting prepped to go in. And it was like a McDonald's assembly line of vast, diagnosis here. And so you're sitting in a room, and so 7 or 8 people have come out, and they're in some stage of recovery, and 7 or 8 are sitting there getting ready to go in. And all that you hear from the 7 or 8 that just came out, they're half conscious, and all the air is blowing up your ass. and you see like 7 or 8 people just ripping farts, just like, and they're like groaning in pain because of the gas, ripping farts. It's like a fart factory on one side of the room, and the other side of the room is like 6, 7 of us, like, Jesus Christ, what am I in for? You know? And then you come in and you go out and you're blowing them out too, and it's like, what the hell kind of shit is this? This is terrible. And it's so demeaning.
I had mine without sedative. And
no sedative. I was knocked the fuck out. No, I didn't mind.
No, I thought I need to know what all the fuss is about. So yeah, and I as soon as it wasn't long after the camera went in that I became very, very vocal. But the guy doing it said, that's the sound of success.
Yeah. Oh, man. You can tell we're old here. This is like a good dungeon encounter, says Jeff. Yeah, I agree. This is terrible. This is the worst.
Yeah, walking in on that. Mind you, I've got the product for that.
Oh, let's see this. The colonoscopy game. What the hell kind of game?
Yeah.
It's got to be a James Raggi game. I mean, no colon. You know, it's fecal lands. I told you, James Raggi. There it is. Yep. Of course it is. Who else?
I wrote that.
You what?
I wrote it.
Did you write it? You wrote a book for Raggi about shit. Nice.
Yeah. And he wanted me to put a picture on the back.
That's great, man.
But don't worry. It was 1 part chocolate spread, 2 parts caramelized biscuit spread, 1 part crushed dry roasted peanuts. Add corn flour and water for consistency. Mix well. Spoon into a plastic food bag. Cut off a corner and pipe out as necessary.
Jesus Christ, dude! That's truly that's a suffering artist. You put in the time for your art, man. Yeah. You know, you put some fake shit on yourself.
And now I get royalties from that.
Well, hey, you know, if your shit works,
got to get them somehow. Got to pay the bills.
Oh God. So all right. So as long as we're in the negative area of shit and stuff, what do you think is the most overrated RPG product ever?
Oh, blimey. Overrated.
Anything pop into your head? Anything, D&D, any RPG related?
I wouldn't say that I think anything's overrated, because it's kind of, they've got their own audience, and the people that are rating it think it's great for their reasons, and they just might not be what my reasons are. And so I don't, like, I was thinking, like, is Mort Borg overrated? But it probably isn't. I think it's great for what it is for its market.
Okay.
I've got it. I've read through it. I really like some bits of it. I kind of like the aesthetic. Yeah. It's not necessarily technical manual easy to read. It's kind of that punk aesthetic. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't say it was overrated. But it's funny that it's the first thing that came to my mind when you said that.
Yeah.
But I don't think it is. I think it's
okay. How about the most underrated? Anything out there? He's like, my God, how come this isn't the greatest thing ever on everybody's shelf?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's probably a number of contenders for that. But the Gaia Complex that I don't know whether I showed that on stream earlier or whether that was when me and you were talking pre-stream.
You have it there? Yeah. We were talking about that. Yeah. So I mean, like the stuff in here and the artwork is it's great. And I kind of, me and Shep have talked about that and said, I can't understand how this hasn't taken off more than it has. It's got 2 supplement hardback books. It's got GMs, proper card GM screen. It's just really good. I'm just surprised that it hasn't done much better. But I think again, it's down to marketing. Yeah.
it's down to online presence as well, to a point, which probably means Shep are not great at those things. Yeah. It's why I kind of enjoy coming on these things, because I get some more people will hear about what I'm doing that maybe didn't before. And
that's what I figure. I the way I look at these, I was sort of pitching it to everybody. I think I might have said this to Jeff Delaney in there. It's like my first job out of college was a bullshit sales job. It's a ripoff selling frozen meat to people and crap. It was a hardcore bullshit job. But what the guy in training told us, and he's one of those slimy salesmen, and he says to us, he's telling us these war stories of who he sold what to. And he says, I sold this woman the meat, and then I actually sold her the bonus fridge and the grill too. And he says, but honestly, if I was there, I could have sold her a car. I could have sold her a shovel and a pickaxe. He says, because what I did was I didn't sell her any product. I sold her myself. And once she bought me, once she trusted me, she would buy anything that I would sell. And so I see all these folks like yourself or Jeff. Like I've seen Jeff multiple times on in interviews and everything when he's out there promoting a product. And I say to myself, he's on here for 20 minutes, half an hour. The bulk of the time is probably 2/3 of it talking about the new product and this and that, and 10 minutes is getting to know Jeff. Now you sit at a bar with Jeff like we did at ShireCon or TotalCon, and you just talk like a human being, like we're doing right here, right? And you get to know the person, and you're like, God, he's a fucking cool dude. I like this guy. I'd buy anything he fucking puts out, and I buy everything he fucking puts out, multiple copies sometimes, right? And so I say to myself, if more people could get to know these designers and publishers like I did at the bar, like we, like do informally, then people are more willing to say, that's a cool fucking guy. He's like me. I can relate to him. Right. We had the same background. We started like you and I started with Beck Me in like the same year virtually. Right. And you had the same experiences and you like the same things we do. Next thing you know, you're just like, I like this fucking guy. I'm going to buy whatever hell he puts out. So I figured this is a different kind of a format for, I call it a conversation, even though there's some questions here and there. I got a few questions I want to ask, but I look at it as a conversation where you get to know somebody and trust them and say, shit, that's cool. I'll get to know them.
And I think you're far better getting the version of the person that's unhindered from trying to sell or trying to promote.
Exactly.
I'm not very good at that anyway, so I don't try and do it. But buy my books.
Buy my books, yes. And the links, all this stuff are below again, guys.
Yeah. So I think when people are like being authentic and genuine, not trying to have an angle or whatever, then and Jeff's exactly one of those people. He's one of those, if not the nicest guy in the OSR. I
agree, and I feel bad every time I talk. I try to slip in a question about Gary every time I talk to him and try to get a little more information, because he's the only person I've ever known who worked for Gary. You know what I mean? I feel bad, but I really enjoy the conversations. It's a good time, and I agree, Jeff. I always have fun talking to you too, man. It's a good time. It's a good time. So, I figure the more people I get on here, the more exposure to them. And I tried, if you have a YouTube channel like you do, please, everybody, there's a link for Glynn's channel below. Subscribe. Click on the link. You'll subscribe to the channel, and then you follow all the stuff he puts out. He does instructional videos. You can learn how to do what he does a little bit. You try to figure it out.
Yeah, I need to do more YouTube stuff as well. Like just review, going through. What I'd probably like to do is go through products that I've had a hand in. And just talk about what I did for those projects. Just
that's cool.
Fly on the wall of doing RPG stuff for a living. Because I guess a lot of people would like to be in a position where they could give up their job and do RPG stuff.
Amen. There's not too many of you guys doing it. I mean, Joe Block is still working, full time, and he puts out his stuff. You're full time doing this. Jeff is full time doing this. James Raji is full time doing this. And I think Matt Finch is full time doing this. But I don't know too many people who can do this full time. I think even Goodman probably still practices law. I think, I don't know, right? I mean, but it's a hell of a gig if you could pull it off. So that's why I ask a lot of these questions about publishing. What you have to learn, what was the mistakes you've made, and things like that, so people can know what they're in for and get a feel for this, because we all want to do what you're doing, on some level. It's the 14-year-old in us's dream to do what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I say, I feel privileged that I got into a position. But I think one of the things is that I just always said yes. Even if I didn't really know quite how I was going to do it, because it's kind of having a bit of belief in yourself and saying,
that's big balls. I mean,
I'll figure it out. I spent 29 years prior getting involved in stuff I had absolutely zero clue about and figuring it out in the end. So maybe that was a good training for what I do now. But yeah, very rarely, unless I haven't got the time, I rarely turn anything down.
Yeah.
As long as I can fit it scheduled and it suits the client, and then I'll be doing it.
Speaking of that shitty sales job I had for the frozen food company, there was an older guy in there in training with us, and I was like, most of us are out of college. This guy's in, I guess, 50s or 60s. Look, I say older, now I'm that age, right? And so this old guy was there with us, and he's telling us a story about success, and he's talking about his nephew. And I said, well, why did your nephew make so much money? Because he's retired in Florida, and he had the franchise to sell hot dogs and beer at Yankee Stadium. I'm like, really? How do you pull that off? He goes, he has brass balls. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, he was laying in bed one day. He was like a half-employed carpenter or something, and the Yankees published something in the local newspaper, the Post or the Daily News, that said they're taking applications for vendors who wants to be a vendor at Yankee Stadium. So he doesn't know jack shit about vending anything. He's a carpenter, but he put in the low bid and won. And he's like, well, now I got to fucking do it. So
it's a confidence in your own ability to work things out, which is actually a really valuable skill.
Yep.
Well, not necessarily a skill, but a really valuable trait. Yeah. I know. I've like I say, I've done that a few times, and I've always figured it out. So, I rarely get put off by something.
Yeah,
I'll figure it out.
If you can go back in time and like talk to yourself 10, 15 years ago, right? Like you yourself now, telephone, cell phone, whatever, call back yourself 10, 15 years ago. What would you tell yourself about the publishing gig? It's like, oh shit, if I could tell my younger self this, life would have been a lot easier.
I mean, if I could have started this over again, I wouldn't have had the time, but like get more involved in marketing, in understanding marketing.
Yourself or your business or what aspect?
Yeah, from a product point. So ideally, the best model for me would be all the bills are getting paid while I'm asleep. In other words, digital sales, book sales. So all of the product sales are happening while I don't have to do anything other than send an email to say, please fulfill this to the fulfillment guys. If you can pay all your bills through your product sales, then the pressure is off you needing to do freelance or any of your other revenue streams.
Yeah.
To kind of earn, your money for your bills. So what I find at the moment is I'm doing more freelance than product sales.
Gotcha.
But that didn't necessarily used to be the case, and it's only probably so 65% of product sales are to the US.
Okay.
From a UK based creator, and what that means is that with the Trump tariffs that came in, the de minimis exemption, that really had a big effect. So what's happened is product sales have just
okay,
just kind of.
I didn't even think about that, man, because you do that. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So you don't do what about drive-through? Because drive-through doesn't have to have that problem, right? And you're talking about the stuff off the store website.
Yeah. So what I did. So the Midlands and the Midlands expanded.
Yeah.
They were never offered as print on demand. They were always buy from the web store. Yeah. So you can buy the digital version, but not print on demand.
Yeah.
And that was because I wanted to focus people to buy the book product because it's stock, it's sitting there, it's taking up room.
Is it do you do your own shipping? Is like sitting like I know Jeff has a storage and he has this shipping. He does his own shipping. Do you do that too, or do you have a?
I used to. Yeah, I used to ship everything from here. But again, what you find is that that's taking up every time an order comes in. You've then got to get out your desk and go and then you've got to go and take it to the post or get it taken. And that can take up quite a lot of time. And it comes down to what I was saying earlier, where you need to make sure that all of your time is spent ideally generating some kind of productive income.
Yeah.
So if I'm wrapping a parcel, arguably, an order's come in, so it's just generated some income.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to a point where I got in touch with a fulfillment company, and they're about an hour away from here, and I ended up taking all of my stock over to them.
Gotcha.
And now what happens is, if I get an order, I just forward them the order, they fulfill it. So I pay a little bit extra, in terms of shipping and handling. But they just handle all that now, and I don't have to worry about it. So I'm spending more productive time here.
Yeah.
And I'm not distracted by order processing.
That makes sense.
But also because the sales to the US have kind of gone down a little bit, because we had to up the shipping rates to the US to accommodate FedEx rates. So it's just a bit complicated, but shipping to the US now, if you use FedEx have their own customs clearing. So that means...
Oh, shit. We lost him again, guys, but he'll be back. I know. He's happened a few times already. There he is already. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. We're back. FedEx thought you were going to talk shit about them, so they canceled you here. So the hackers.
No. So FedEx have their own customs clearing when it gets to the US. So you send stuff via FedEx, it gets to the States. They handle the customs clearing and then ship it to the end user. If you use Royal Mail, what was kind of happening was that would just go to the USPS customs, the normal US customs clearing.
Yeah.
They haven't really got the infrastructure to handle what to do with all these packages, so they were just charging like $80 or up to $200, and that's just not viable, because the last thing you want to do when you get a book from the UK is be stumped with like some massive customs fee.
Yeah.
So we decided we'd ship via FedEx, but unfortunately the minimum FedEx rate was like 2.5 kilos. So we've got to charge for 2.5 kilos. So my advice would be, if you're going to the web store and you want to buy some stuff, make the most of the shipping, because don't buy one book, buy a bundle, or a couple of books.
Remember Raji was saying that a while back too for his store. He says, because it's something related to rates, buy big so that it's cheaper, because you're going to end up paying the same damn shipping charge anyway. So buy a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's probably a FedExy thing.
Yeah.
So same applies. But what I kind of thought was, I think it's time to get the Midlands Expanded and some of the other books in print on demand. Yeah. So at least if the US guys want to buy, they're not forced to have to pay the shipping, because they can get a print on demand.
Makes sense.
And it's domestically, shipped, and you don't have to pay the tariff. Yeah. So I've recently, so the Midlands and the Midlands Expanded now have 6x9 print on demand versions in hardcover.
I got to say, I was looking at your website and I was a bit confused, because here I'll actually show it up here, because I figure if I'm confused, other people might be confused as well.
Sure.
Because I look at the Midlands and I'm like, all right, and then I see the Midlands Expanded, which has more stuff in it, but it seems like it also has. Does it have what was in the Midlands, or doesn't it? I don't know.
No.
Because here we have your website, and I'm looking at the Middergloom bundle, which is 135 pounds, and that's about. I looked it up on Google, and that's about a little shy of 200, maybe $180. All right,
Yeah.
so that's not bad. So you're getting the whole shebang. And I'm looking at the Midlands, Midlands expanded, City of London and London. Sorry, the three zines, the Gloom Master, Game Master screen. The might be good. The Gloom Master screen. That might be cool. And the Helium randomizer card and the Iron-On patch. And
Yeah.
those would be the numbers in stock at the business, right? So you have 49 total of everything in stock. So what is the difference between these two? What if I look at them?
So the Midlands, it's probably best if I show you maps.
All right, let me. I'll stop sharing here. I just want to get that out there. All right, yeah. So let's see if we could. And by the way, thank you, Ian, for becoming a member. As you guys know, as you heard at the beginning, at 5 o'clock, Glynn has graciously agreed to do a members only half an hour with us. So we're going to jump into a different stream, do a half an hour with Glynn, and I'm going to put a link in there so you can join via video. You need a Restream account, which will take you about 10 seconds to create, and you could join in via video and talk to us here. So yeah, so what do you got, man? What is this about?
Okay, so that is the Midlands. So that's the area of the first book. Okay. And there's like a parchment version of the same map on the back.
Okay.
So the first book details all of that area. And then what I decided to do for the second book was expand that out from the Midlands to the whole of the
So it's not an expanded book, it's an expansion on the setting.
Yes, it's more.
Okay. Gotcha.
So basically, the Midlands is probably about that much area in the middle. Hence the middle.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now there's lots of towns and counties and stuff all detailed in the Midlands expanded.
Okay. So one is a smaller region, the other is the whole country or whatever. Yeah. All right.
And then the final kind of book. Whether it will be the final book, I don't know, but the next book in the current trilogy.
Because there's got to be a trilogy for D&D people.
Is the City of Great London.
Okay.
So that's basically the city setting, which is found in the Haven Isles, which is the capital city, and that's kind of got quite a bit more going on in terms of maps. So I'm just trying to find them all. See if I can get this one.
So the Middergloom bundle seems to be, if you want to go full in on the entire Midlands everything, get the Middergloom bundle, it seems like, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's more stuff after. There's more Midazines up to Midazine 7.
Okay.
There's Folk Magic of the Haven Isles, Fighting Folk of the Haven Isles. There's some adventures, Tour of Fingers, Bats and Taverns. So there's quite a bit of content being created for it.
You ever think of doing a massive mega bundle, $400 or whatever, and just get everything in one for the guy who wants to dive in full speed?
It's certainly worth considering. It'll make the most of the shipping.
Yeah, that's what I mean. In terms of, if you're dealing with the bullshit shipping that we got going on now, if you want to buy it all at once, put it into a bundle, give a little discount, and people might dive in. You never know.
Yeah. So that's basically the City of Great London.
Okay.
And then if you imagine that split into 4 quadrants, this is one of the quadrants. So you've got a slightly blown up version.
Gotcha. Okay.
Then, so there's 4 of the maps, and each one's got a quadrant on the back.
Okay.
So this is the map of what's basically like the inner city.
Yeah.
And then that's another quadrant on the back. So basically, if you stick all 4 quadrants together, you end up with a huge map.
Okay. And do you have, if you bought this Middergloom bundle, are you getting the PDF as well?
So the PDF's not included, but what I say is, if you want the PDFs, just email me. Give me your drive-through address. I'll send you.
Okay. Cool. That's very cool. Not many people would do that, man. That's awesome.
And then that's the sewer map for the inner city.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So heavily inspired by the Lankmar setting.
Oh, dude, I'm starting my new campaign the day after Halloween with my brother, my friend Pete, using these rules that I've sort of created. I'm kicking the tires with them. And I said, you know what? I want a Lankmar city. It's a city that's fallen into ruin and crumbles. It's 1,000 years after the bad shit happened, and I know that the city has declined and everything. And I'm like, Lankmar would be perfect. But at some point, I maybe want to publish the goddamn thing, so I can't just steal Lankmar. I've actually considered using your City of London because it looks great. It's perfect, the vibe. You know? Yes. Oh yes, man.
And then so what I did, I created a blow up of the inner city.
Nice.
And then created a load of rooftops so you can do rooftop chases.
Oh, dude, yes. Dude, that's perfect, man.
Yeah, and then the last quarters on the back. So you get all those 4 poster maps with the City of Great London. So the Midlands expanded, City of Great London, there's kind of a massive amount of content there.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great. That comes in a box set? Was that? Did you just put it in a box?
Right. Well, it doesn't come in a box set, but I've still got lots of extra content, like bookmarks.
Oh, nice.
Character sheet pads.
Okay.
So there's a map called the Lost World, which you get with Midazine 6, and it's basically the whole world of where the Midlands is set.
Yeah, that's cool.
And some of the continents are explained in Midazine 6.
Now, do you have the goal to eventually the ideal for you would be no contracting work, just doing your own stuff full time? Is that the ultimate goal, do you think, or do you always want to have a mix?
I like to have a bit of a mix.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is obviously if you're freelancing, you're not working on your own stuff, and there's only so many hours in the day. So it's trying to find a balance with that. So I think Midazine 7 came out years ago, and I keep trying to get back to do Midazine 8. It just sort of hardly ever happens. But yeah, so I'd like more time on my own projects, because it's really every time you create a project, not only do you sell that project, but you sell residual sales of your older projects because people are discovering you. So it's always good to have an expanding catalog, because then you're continually driving sales and sales of previous product. So yeah, I think if I could get a balance, I think. But at the moment, it's pretty much all freelance, which I'm certainly not complaining about, because I'm getting work on very good opportunities. Big projects.
Your name is everywhere, dude. Your name is everywhere. It really is.
Yeah, it surprises me sometimes. I'm like, I did some work on that. No, I did some work on that.
Does it feel weird? Does it feel weird to be like that well known? Like if you showed up at a convention and people asked you for your autograph, would you be like, "What the fuck, me, huh?"
I have been asked for my autograph a couple times, which is bonkers. But is it weird? I think I'm still of the belief that not many people know who I am. Like in the scene. I mean, that's what I honestly probably think. There's a lot of people.
Your name, they know your name. They may not know your face, because when I was looking for an image of you, I realized I don't know what the hell this guy looks like, and I'm looking on Google for an image of you to use in the thumbnail, and I'm like, is this him? I had to triple check to make sure I didn't put some rando. Who the fuck? And you said, who the fuck is this guy? And that's not me. You know what I mean? I didn't want to.
I could have sent you the one from the back of Fecal Lands covered in.
That would have been good. Yeah, a little shitty advertisement there on the thumbnail. So do you have what? So let's say there's some dude out there like me or some other guy in the chat listening to this a year from now, and they're saying, "Shit, I want to get into publishing like Glynn's doing." What's your best piece of advice to them?
Multiple revenue streams. So, assuming if you want to get into publishing, you're doing it because you want to that's what you want to do.
Make money, yeah.
Your job and spend your time doing that. Create ways of earning revenue that aren't all exactly the same thing, because if for some reason, like COVID stopped me selling books and going to the post office for a while in the UK. So all of that just totally disappeared, like in the blink of an eye. But I was still doing lots of freelance stuff. So the revenue kept getting paid. So you're trying to protect your income sources from like a big shock. It's like having all your eggs in one basket, you know. Don't do that. So I can sell digital books through drive-through. I can sell physical books. I can do freelance cartography. I can do freelance artwork. So there's always something that I'm going to be able to do. Any free time I do get, I work on my own projects. And I might not be able to have enough time to work on a project to get it complete, but I know that at some point it will get complete, it will get published, and it will generate revenue for the time that I spent on it previously. So it's a longer term goal on those sorts of things, but having as many opportunities to generate revenue. I've got like a Redbubble site and an itch.io site. It hardly generates any money. Like I probably get a couple of dollars every couple of months. It's probably not worth the amount of time it takes to manage it by uploading new products.
Sounds like a YouTube gig. You make $50 a month, but you spend $100 a month on the bullshit to make your $50 a month. So at the end of the day, what are you doing? You're just having fun with your friends. That's why I look at it.
And there's a lot to be said for doing that as well. From a mental health point of view.
I agree. Have a drink, roll some dice, even if it's online digital dice, and he has some laughs, have a good time. You know, that's good. So I like to finish. I know we got a rapid five and do our members only thing, but I like to finish what I call like this a rapid fire. I wanted one thing. I wanted to keep it free flow and ask a few questions, but I wanted one thing in every interview that I do with everybody that's the same, so people can compare. All right, what did Jeff say? What did Glynn say? What did Joe say? Right. So this is just a rapid fire questions, and I got about 10 of them. Okay. So here we go. Favorite Appendix N book or author?
We talked about that before.
I know, before the show.
Lord of the Rings.
All right. Okay. All right. Good deal.
Just because I haven't really read any of the rest in depth. Like I say, I'm not a massive reader of literature.
If the Ray Feist Midcamia books are in there, would that trump Lord of the Rings?
Yes, I would have said. But that was the first thing that came to mind. I thought they're not in Appendix N, so I can't say.
Yeah. We talked about that pre-show when we were getting to know each other a little bit. I met Ray Feist back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in law school at the time, and he was doing something down in Pennsylvania, and I drove way the hell down there to meet him, and he was kind of nice dude. It's kind of an old rando guy. I was on his listserv, remember those? And he bought me a soda, and after this book signing at some big mall, he went to a little food court, bought me and a few guys a soda, and we just talked for half an hour. It was a cool dude.
Why is his IP not turned into an RPG yet?
Dude, I don't know. Because I think his IP started out as an RPG, and somebody might own the rights to the RPG, and he owns the rights to the stories, but it never made it anywhere. But it should be made into a fucking movie. It should be made into a movie. I mean, Jesus Christ. The first 4 books are waiting to be made. I can't understand why the fuck. Anyway, we blew the rapid fire. I blew it already. I'm sorry. All right. So next, speaking of movies, favorite D&D related movie or show?
Conan the Barbarian.
Done. I agree. I fucking agree. Favorite adventure module? What we got? What we got? Oh, nice, man. Very cool. Very cool. You painted all that?
No, it's from Frazetta Girls.
Nice. That's awesome looking, dude.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's awesome. No, that's fine, man. Yeah. All right. So favorite adventure module from back in the day. Favorite D&D adventure module. Or any other, but
I'm going to say In Search of the Unknown, B1.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I loved it. The pool room. Oh.
All right. Okay. All right. Cool.
It's one of my first experiences of gaming, and that was what hooked me in.
Yeah, I get that. The stuff that sticks with you, like we said earlier, the early stuff, it really does stick with you, man. Mm-hmm. Favorite RPG system?
Ooh. I know this is quickfire. Swords and Wizardry or OSE? probably.
Okay.
Just because they're very simple.
Swords and Wizardry Complete, or the
Yeah,
other?
complete. Yeah.
Okay, so the Matt Finch's. Okay.
The Midlands was written for Swords and Wizardry Complete.
Are you running games yourself? Are you
Yeah.
What do you use for your games?
Well, it was Swords and Wizardry, OSE, or generally playtesting my own system.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But I have run some of the bits and bobs.
Okay. All right. Favorite RPG system that you want to run, but for whatever reason you can't fucking run it. Maybe lack of a group, lack of whatever.
Ooh.
It's funny. We all look at our shelf, you know.
well, it's gonna come true, I think, over Christmas, which is Twilight 2000, the 4th edition one that was released by Free.
All right. Very cool.
So
Very cool.
I think I'm running that over Christmas.
All right. Okay. So that won't be off. That won't be on the list. Favorite game designer other than Gary or Dave?
Is Jeff here? I have to say Jeff, don't I?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I haven't seen him commenting a bit, but he might watch it later. But yeah, be honest. You know, what do you think?
Favorite game designer. I like Rob Schwalb. I'll come back to the Rob Schwalb conversation again.
I gotta follow him on Twitter to get a sense of this guy. I gotta see if I could. That's where you see he has a good sense of humor. He feels like you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Robert Schwalb. I'll check him out. Let me write that down now, because if I don't write this shit down, as you know, when you hit a certain age, this shit is in and out of your goddamn head.
Yeah, I think his website Schwalb Entertainment.
Okay, Robert Schwalb. It is. All right. Yeah, so, favorite D&D monster.
Ooh. Oh.
For whatever reason, you know.
Yeah. I'm going to say Mephistopheles out of MM2.
Really?
Not a monster. He's a demon, devil lord.
Yeah. Why is that?
Because when I was playing as a kid, my GM, I had some high level characters because
going against Mephistopheles
back in the day, and kind of one of the things was that I was going to go and kill all the devils in the Nine Hells. And,
of course, as one does.
Yeah, and Mephistopheles totally handed me my ass.
Really?
Killed all my characters. Wiped them all out. Nice. Yeah, but the picture in the MM2, just like every time I look at that, I just see you bastard.
Really? I know. I got it right here.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it in a long time now. All right, so it was under, if I remember right, this was organized by devils.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, just turn right to the devil page. Look at that. You must have a. Oh, there he is. There he is. Mephistopheles.
That's him.
That's awesome. Yeah. Kicked your ass, huh? Yeah. There he is.
Yeah, he did. In fact, one of the bad in the City of Great London book, the like main. So this guy on the cover.
Let me get a bigger
shadowy figure.
Let me bignify you.
Yeah, okay. The shadowy figure of like overlooking the city.
I see the resemblance.
That's Mephistophel, who is like this like demon devil lord, and he's like a big
I do like the art.
Antagonist. Yeah, basically he's using the Witch Pig decks to kind of it's a bit of a summoning tool. It's all explained in there and under the Witch Pig deck, Mephistopheles. So that he's influenced by Mephistopheles.
All right, that's very cool. All right, so now I know there's rapid fire, but take as long as you want on these next two.
Yeah, I have just going off.
Favorite memory as a player, playing D&D. You know, favorite memory as a player.
As a player,
the story you tell the most.
Yeah, I'm thinking of one as a DM.
Well, that's the next question. If you want to start with that, feel free. Favorite story of the DM's the next question.
Okay, yeah, I'll start with that. So, I ran a session. I'm pretty sure it was using Dangerous Journeys.
Okay, yeah, Gygax's old thing. Yep.
Yeah, and it was an inn that had this kind of ghoul that had basically took over the inn and wiped out everyone. And the guy that was running the inn had sent a letter to his friend saying, "Can you send me this holy symbol?" And your introduction is that the father in the city has said, "Can you deliver this package to my friend who lives at the inn?"
Yeah.
And you don't know what it is, but it's a holy symbol if they open it, because he thinks that the inn's haunted, so he wants the holy symbol. But when they go there, it's nightfall and it's all quiet and nowhere's open. But I ran it for my friends, and this was going years ago. But it was night when I ran it, and I ran it in the bedroom, and I had a spotlight, and I shone the spotlight. It was right down on the floor, so it was really dark.
Nice.
And I was just kind of narrating the things that were happening, like you see a shadow just disappear, and like they went in this one room, and I said there's just blood on the floor dripping, and it's all dripping through the floorboards, like
Amityville.
Yeah. So it's kind of like horror. And my players were just absolutely freaked out by it, and it just all the atmosphere was exactly right.
Yeah.
And I was on form that day as well, and I just always remember that, thinking like, I think that might have been the best session I ever ran.
That's cool.
Anyway, that adventure made it into the Midlands Expanded. So if you an adventure in the Midlands Expanded, which is basically called, I think it's In at the Last Home. Oh no, I changed the name of it to the Rat Dog Inn. So it's basically that the Rat Dog Inn is the inn. So yeah, that's my favourite memory of running a game. Playing, it's difficult. Pick one. Not quite a lot.
If you can't have one, if you don't have one that comes to mind, who was your best DM and why? If you maybe that's this alternate, you know what I mean? Who would you say?
Yeah, well, probably the DM that I had growing up as a kid when I first got into it, because it was just so new to me. Yeah. I'm still friends with him. I haven't seen him for ages. I need to catch up with him and go out for a curry. But yeah, a lot of memories. That he was running the game where Mephistopheles killed all my characters.
Oh, he
was really like Neville then as well, and I had a sword +6 Hellblade.
Nice,
obviously, and a bag. It was this bag, and if you, it was based on do you remember John Hurt did a series called something like The Storyteller?
No.
And he had this. It was like Jim Henson puppet dog thing. Anyway, he was basically just telling a story about something that happened. And one of them was he had a bag, this guy in the story, and he would say, if you go up to somebody and say, "Do you know what this is?" And if they said, "Well, it's a bag."
Yeah.
And if they said that, you would say, "Well, if this is a bag, get in it." And then the people would get sucked into the bag.
Yeah.
And I had one of those.
All right.
Because we'd obviously watched that, and that was the thing. So yeah, it's just all those memories of gaming back then. Good old days.
That's cool. All right, so last question, and then guys, just a real quick thing. After this question, we're going to take a break for a few minutes. We probably both got to go take a leak, and then at 5 o'clock, we will be back on the members only stream. If you're a member, you'll see the link. If you're not a member, you won't. If you're watching this sometime in the future, it will always be on my channel in the members only video section. You'll be able to watch it later. Okay, so if you're watching this sometime in the future, you'll be able to see it later. Okay, now last question, Glynn. Then we'll head off and come back at 5 for members only. Is other than Gary and Dave, who goes on the 4 people? Who are the 4 people on your Mount Rushmore of RPG people, other than Gary or Dave? You know Mount Rushmore, like the big monument.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Oh, blimey, RPG people. Oh. I guess it would have to be, the founding guys, you know. Like I'm not fully up to speed on my D&D history, but people like the Blackmore and the Braunstein kind of guy, Dave McGee.
Yeah, other than Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson, other than those 2, because that's the easy 2, right? Who else?
Yeah, but I'm thinking like Dave McGar.
The players. You know, Dave Arneson. Rob Kuntz, you mean?
Rob Kuntz, yeah, because those guys were all, you know,
yeah, they were there,
seminal to D&D.
Yeah,
they should all be up there.
Okay, so the founder, the early employees of TSR, like the Tim Casks.
Yeah.
All right, cool,
man. We can expand it past 4.
Yeah, why not? You get the whole first 5 employees of TSR, you know.
Yeah.
All right, cool, man. And Greg, Jubby Funster, Greg Christopher just says, Glynn does amazing work. Great to see him live. Love the accent. Yes, it took me a second. I wanted to watch a couple of your videos just to make sure I got the accent so I could just flow. You know what I mean? I never know how somebody's cadence, how fast they talk, because I'm a fast talker. I know I over talk sometimes, so I want to make sure I don't fuck this whole thing up. You know, so I'm going to get the accent down.
Yeah, I'm probably 30 minutes north of Peaky Blinder land. So, yeah, all right. How are you doing? You're all right. Oh, yeah, I'm all right. So my dad talks a bit more like that. But when I'm on a stream, I'm always trying to talk posh because my girlfriend grew up in Windsor. So she's always correcting me. So I would say a castle, but she will say castle. So I always get corrected. So I have to speak properly sometimes.
That's the benefit of having a girlfriend, is always getting corrected, right? I mean, that's one of the
parts. Oh, absolutely.
You know? That's what we look for. On that happy note, dude, thank you so much for doing this. And again, guys, in about 5 minutes or so, 6 minutes, enough time. Again, dude, don't run to the bathroom, man. Take your time. Yeah, we're gonna take a bathroom break. We're gonna get back for the members only live stream. But thank you so much for taking all this time in your day, man. I so appreciate it, because it's 5 hours later for you, so it's nighttime out there.
My pleasure.
Yeah, no, I so appreciate this, man. And anybody, like I said, watching this, you can subscribe and watch the video after the fact, or whoever's here right now is a member, watch it now. So we'll log off now. And Glenn, you have the link that I sent you in Twitter for the members only part?
I will find it. Yes, right, I think so.
Yep, it should be there. So you click on that and we'll join a few. All right, it'll be a different stream. And guys, I'm going to put a link to that in the actual chat in that members only stream, so you guys could join in video and talk. All right, so yeah, so Greg, Christopher, Chubby Funster, you cheap bastard, be a member. You can talk to Glenn one-on-one. You're still not a member of my channel, you bastard. All right, so thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you soon. All righty.